Okay, welcome guys, welcome. We are playing some more Dominion 6. We're going to continue on. I completely forgot that we were playing this game. In fact, I've completely forgotten what we're actually doing in this game as well. So we haven't done too much. We played this one a few weeks ago, and so I'm just going to continue on from where we are, which means I have to try to get my head back into where we actually are in the game. I sometimes spend some time before I start streaming to evaluate where things are, just to get my head back into what we're doing. But I thought I might do that actually live, because I do want this one to be for newish players, so this will give me a chance to basically get up to speed with what we're doing. Sorry about my voice as well, by the way. I've had the flu. I seem to be sort of over it now, but it's just my voice is still croaky. That's why I haven't really been streaming much in the last few days. So anyway, we'll should be back on track again now. Right, so Dominion 6, incredible strategy game. Now it looks like we're playing as Asphodel, which is a easy-ish faction to play, which is sort of like an undead sort of satyrs and pans and sort of woodland creatures faction in the game. I think we're playing the Middle Ages. Let's just go through the setup that we actually have, just so we can sort of go and see what the evaluation actually is for everything that we actually have. If we go back and have a look at the army setups, we won't worry about that one. The recruits, just looking at the top menu through here. We'll get back to doing these. Bid for mercenaries. I'm not going to worry about mercenaries. I'm going to need the money for other things, I think. So read Province Chronicles. I don't think we're going to see much when I go and click on that one. Even though Asphodel is mainly a large, dense forest, it is plenty of large clearings where entire towns have been created. So that's sort of, so essentially we are playing in a forest location. Then we come back across to read messages. Nothing happened in whatever the previous turn was. We're only at the very start of the game, by the way. Send messages, which if we were playing multiplayer, you can go and do different things there. I'll just quickly show you. Send text message, send gold, magic. There's a lot of different things that you can do in the game, and particularly like things like diplomatic missives allow you to control, particularly multiplayer games, to actually have the game help you to manage what you decide to do, which is actually great. Like this is a major improvement on the previous games in the series. Nation overview. This is the one that we want to have a main look at. But let's quickly go through the rest of these score graphs. If we have a bit of a look at these, we can sort of see that there's a few different factions. We're all about the same with what we're doing in here in terms of number of provinces. So nobody has really sort of taken the lead with provinces as such. Some of them are still down here with their initial province, but everyone else is pretty much on that second tier, which is where we are. And so that's sort of I won't go through all of them, but I mean, it's too early in the game for that to be meaningful. We'll have a look at that at some point. You have to turn that on, by the way, in your game setup to be able to look at the score graphs, which I think if you're a new player, it's a good thing to do. It just gives you a bit of a feel for how you're actually travelling against the other AIs. So you've got score graphs in through there. You've got the Hall of Fame. There shouldn't be anyone really in here yet, though there is a couple there. And so we actually end up with a few, as the different characters start to do meaningful things, they end up with experience, and the experience will then push them into the Hall of Fame. And I think we've got top 10. I don't think we did top 15. Again, you set it up in in your game setups. And so in here we can sort of see, for example, that there was a character called Athanagild, who is a barbarian chief, and he's been killed at this point in time. He was an independent. He did get 3 kills himself, and he had 4 experience. So he's actually currently at top of the Hall of Fame, but he's no longer living in the actual map in the world itself. But then we have another one called Domantari. So stories are being told about Domantari the troubadour and his heroic endurance, and he is actually is a follower of Chaga, the god of Marignon, which is going to be one of the AI factions, messenger of the gods, king of the stony mountains, master of the forgiving, master of the harvest. That's the name of the god. He's had 1 kill and 10 experience in through here. So we don't know much about him, but that's that one character there. None of ours have been good enough yet to actually sort of to do what they need to do. So Foggins saying, you've been sick. I wondered. Yes, no, I was probably really good enough to stream. I should say it, I guess. When essentially the I'm testing the early access of the coming Age of Wonders, which is coming in a few weeks' time, and I can't stop playing it. It's unbelievably good. I'm not allowed to give reviews or anything like that, but I just can't stop playing the new Age of Wonders. It's just incredible. So that's when I have been. I did my back in as well on the weekend, and I can sort of sit for an extended period, but then it hurts when I get up. But that's actually now on the improve as well. But it's one of those things where when I did come down to stream, and I did come and sit, I was going to set up a stream, and then I thought, I really shouldn't sit down for any great length of time. This is over the last few days, and then I just played Age of Wonders and was in a happy place, very, very happy. It's incredible actually what's bringing in. It's there's just I found new ways to play the game. Even just the base game, which I'm really, really excited to be able to show, but I'm not allowed to show it, and I don't want to wind the game back now. I'm sort of really into the new stuff. Anyway, that's for another day. But I was sort of coming down. Even today, I came down and thought, I really feel like playing Age of Wonders. But I thought, no, look, I've better. I feel good enough to do a live stream, so I'll do a live stream instead. Anyway, that's. I'm not supposed to give reviews or anything like that, or even really talk much about what's coming in the other than what's been publicly done. But I can tell you the base game in Age of Wonders has had some incredible improvements. Stuff I wasn't even aware of, actually, which I don't know how long they've been in the game, but there's some amazing stuff in the game. Falcon's saying, sorry, don't mean to distract. No, that's fine. Not a problem at all. We can meander through a bit today. I've got a bit under 3 hours, so before I've got to go to the beach. Funny, I really miss going to the beach as well. Since I've sort of had the flu, I haven't really gone, but because I know it makes it worse to a degree, but it also makes it better. Like it's last week I could feel it coming on, and I just went, swimming in the ocean really just fixes things a lot. Anyway, that's for another time. So we've got that was the Hall of Fame. Then we've got the Pretenders of the World. These are the gods that are actually out and about, and we'll have a look at this one in some detail as well to sort of see who we are. This is a good starting point. Like if you are playing a game and don't really understand what's going on or don't remember what you're doing, and which is exactly what the position I'm in right now, is to try to figure out what's actually happening through here. And so Chirocles is our pretender god's name, and then these are the other pretender gods that we actually have. So we've got, and it's interesting to sort of know what the other factions actually are. So we might come back and start here, I think, and then have a look at the nation overview and try to figure out what we were doing when we sort of left off last time. Research, I've sort of set up like a whole lot of different research without really looking at it in any sort of detail as to what we're trying to do with the research. We'll come back to that as well. Global enchantments, there won't be any at this stage. I don't think there'll be any yet. No, there's nothing at this point in time. We can have, again, in the game setup, I've set up so only allowing 5 global enchantments. These are things that affect the whole world. So there's some major spells towards the back end of the game that you can then sort of start to run, as well as other things as well. Hi, Stardagger Riensu. They're saying, I keep telling gamers, don't go outside. If you have a fair few dangerous game-impacting injuries lurk out there, I hope you're okay and get well soon. In through there. Yeah, no, it's all good, actually. It's all good. So Spring saying, hi, Daz and chat. How are you and where have you been? I've just said before, I've actually had the flu for the last few days. Three things impacted my gaming commitment, sort of keeping me a bit knocked out over the weekend. The second was I did my back in on the weekend as well, and so I really wasn't able to move around much. And the third one, which is probably the main one, was that I've been testing the new Age of Wonders. So they're the three things. And to be honest, in the time I haven't been able to stop playing Age of Wonders, which is a good sign. Falcons are saying the third is the most important. Yes, it is. It's just, yeah, I wake up thinking about it, to be honest. Even this morning, because it's really early in the morning for me here, and I wake up thinking, I could try making this sort of character or that sort of slant on what the new stuff is going to be bringing. There's a lot of scope, a hell of a lot of scope in what they've done. Really, it's a work of art, Age of Wonders. I don't know if I'm just blind to like I know people have negatives with the game, but I just like the more I delve into it, the more I just see it as a work of art. Like it's just a brilliant game. Like it's just the best game. Anyway, I'll stop gushing about it, and I'll be able to talk about it in a couple of weeks' time. But I'm not supposed to talk about it yet. All right, so then we've got the Thrones of Ascension. Now, these are different thrones that we've also set up. Sorry, what have we got? We've got the Magic Item Treasury, which you shouldn't have anything in. We've got the Magic Item Overview, which is also our construction levels, which we've got nothing yet, just yet. We're too early in the game. And then the Thrones of Ascension. These are the actual thrones around and we've got to actually, we need 7 Ascension points. Now what we've got is we've got a level 3 throne, the Throne of Creation somewhere. We've got a Throne of the First Age is a level 2 throne, and the Throne of Misfortune is also a level 2 throne. And then we've got the whole lot of level 1 thrones, the Throne of the Second Age. And we have a look at them, we can sort of see what they do bring. Now we do have a throne nearby, right here. We don't know what it is, but we can sort of see that there's like Lion Tribe warriors here. When I right click on this one, it says, for example, this province consists of 80 enemy units. It consists of many Lion Tribe warriors and Lion Tribe archers. Now, this was not anything too difficult for us to take over. We'll be able to build up for that fairly readily. So we're going to come back for this one and take that throne fairly soon. Like that's going to be sort of something that we target on. We don't know what that is, and it's important that we do find out what the throne actually is. It's important that we take it because the thrones will give all of them will give different benefits, but some of them will do things that we don't want to have happen. And so, for example, the Throne of Pestilence is going to we get like it must be claimed ascension points 1, so we get 1 point for ascending. We need to get to 7. Dominion spread of 1, so it's going to then help to spread out the word of our God around the place. But Dominion gets death plus 1. Actually, that's not too bad, you know. This isn't too bad because we are an undead nation. So the Throne of Pestilence would actually be a good one for us. I thought it was going to be a bad one. Some of them actually spread disease and do things like that. This one doesn't. So this one is actually fine, and it produces 3 death gems per turn. So if that's the throne, that's actually a good one. What are some of the other ones that we've got? Like the Black Throne. Yeah, this one here spreads deadly diseases. So if it's the Black Throne, then we're in trouble. But I don't think it is. And we can see again, well, I'll show you again how we can test that, just to sort of double check and see what's going on. So that's the thrones. Then we've got the options and then the end term, which we don't have a look at. Let's have a look at the pretender gods and then just work our way through there. So the pretenders of the world. And this is how we can sort of see who we actually are playing. So if we go back into here. So we're playing as Asphodel, the Carrion Woods. Asphodel is once part of Pangaea, a woodland nation inhabited by wild beings connected with nature. Half-men such as satyrs, centaurs, and minotaurs serve the lords of the sacred groves deep in the forests. In ancient times, the woods covered much of the world, but that has changed. Man is no longer beast and animals are no longer wild. The world of the wild is disappearing. In response to the destruction of the wild forests, a dark and hungry god has arisen. The Pangaea of the sacred groves could not prevent the destruction of the wilderness, and a few of them have revolted and struck back with dark fury upon the civilized world. That's us. So the Panic apostates and their followers have been touched by the dark god, and their hides are coloured as black as the mood of the vengeful forest. But victory comes at a price. Half men as well as civilized men succumb to the curse of the Carrion Woods. Asphodel is slowly turning into a cursed forest realm, haunted by living carrion. So that sort of sets up who we are. It's very important to know who you're playing as in this game. So it's not a game where it's just the same, every faction plays the same. They're wildly different with what they actually have. They have some mechanics that they share across the different factions, but the actual way of playing them is very, very unique, which makes this game this is one of the reasons this game is just such a work of art as well. Like, it really is an amazing game. One of the best strategy games ever made, the Dominion series. We then get the national features. These are really important that you understand these when you start to play the game, no matter which faction you're playing. And I'll show you one of the others as well, or 1 or 2 of the others, just so you can sort of see the difference. So race, forest beings and reanimated carrion beings, stealthy troops, troops will heal battle afflictions, undead carrion beasts. So we have a whole range of different things. Now, they're Panic apostates and things like this. This is like a Panic apostate in through here, which is a tallish sort of creature with almost like not a goat-headed, sort of person. A panic apostate is a pan who has forsaken the old ways in order to avenge the damage done to the wild. By calling dark force and giving life to that which has died, the apostate follows a new and dark god in an attempt to destroy those who harm nature. And they've got all sorts of different abilities, like a lot of death magic, nature magic. So we've got different combinations of different things in through here as well. This one is stealthy, so it can sort of be stealthy around the place. Survives well in the forest, recuperation. It supplies a supply bonus for armies, things like that. So this one here is a leader. This is one of our best leaders. The commanders in through here are all quite different, but that's essentially one of the pans, which is so the pans of the forest are are sort of like the rulers of the forest, and then we've got things like centaurs. We've got Minotaur Lords back in through this other side. We've got Black Minotaurs back over here. Normal Minotaurs. We've got Minotaur Warriors. We've then got Black Centaurs. Centaurs in through here. These are our main armies that we actually have, plus a whole lot of just satyrs, which are sort of goat-footed men that... these are sort of like the weakest of the units, I guess. And then we also just have harpies, which can be flying units. So we don't have one of the good things about playing as Asphodel is there's not a real range of massive amounts of different sorts of creatures you have to remember or think about. So we have it's a fairly understandable faction to play in that sort of sense. And similarly, there's the other one as well. Look, this is the undead version of Pangea. Pangea is another faction you can play as, which is more life-driven. This is more death-driven. So anyway, we've got military satyrs and Minotaur infantry, centaur warriors, blah, blah, blah. We've just gone through that one just there. Plus the carrion beasts. The carrion beasts are what we raise from the dead. In fact, the panic apostates possibly have a way of... it's got animal ore in through there. Sometimes they'll actually have spells that allow them to, or presence even, that allows them to just call forth carrion, just as a matter of course. Anyway, that's not showing it in through there. The magic that we actually have, nature, death, some glamour, earth and water. There's one, there's also blood magic for new players I would avoid. So stay away from blood magic if you can help it. You can get factions that have blood magic, but it's hard to use. Astral magic as well can be a little bit hard to use. But these fairly mundane ones like nature, death, glamour, earth and water are all very, very good in terms of understanding how to use them. So there's nothing too tricky with that, which is, I think, important when you're trying to learn the game. Priests are average, which means that they sort of can move out and about. They can sort of pray for the god and try to spread the word. Undead priests can reanimate carrions, which is useful. So when we do get, some of these will be, they've got Dryad Hag. Some of these will actually have priest abilities, like this one's sacred, but also a level 2 priest, as an example. This one's quite strong with what they can then go and do. But there should be base level as well, usually. It looks like we don't actually have any. Actually, the Black Dryad is also just a level 2 there, and the Dryad Hag. Yeah, these are the priests. These are fairly expensive, actually. So our priests are not simple. Actually, these ones, it's sent to ride. No, that's not it. Sorry, this one here. Yeah, 215 gold. These are quite expensive priests to bring into the game. But the average is referring to the level 2 that they have. Dominion reanimates the unburied dead as mannequins. So this is the as we raise the as our dominion, which is the belief in our god, sort of reverberates through the land, which is the sort of that's that border that we sort of see through the edge there. As this sort of expands, it reanimates the undead dead as mannequins, carrying beasts everywhere, but more in forests. Temples and a growth scale increase reanimation rates. So magic scale increases the chance of better reanimations. Dominion kills population. So it's important for us to know what the magic scales are that we're then going to be actually having with what we actually have. So knowing what our Dominion is that we had set up at the start of the game is important. So with magic scale, we get better reanimations. So so magic is an important aspect to us. Scales and blesses, growth limit of +2 and magic limit of +1. So again, the magic limit has been raised up so we can get even more magic because we use that to reanimate the carrion better. Growth limit is also, if we wanted to extend the forest. And we have a lot of advantages by playing in the forest. It means that plains and sort of like the the non-mountainous, non-sort of settlement areas on the map, if we have strong dominion in there and we can get the growth level up to a level 4, it will actually spawn forests. So over, like, there's a chance it can grow our forest. So that's also very important that we maximise the growth playing as this particular faction. Or it's not important, but it certainly can be very, very helpful in the long term in the game. And I know that we've done that. So building's very primitive forts, 50% more expensive. Temples cost 300 in forests. Temples produce nature gems. Labs cost 300 in forests as well. So forests are a way for us to be able to expand well. So controlling forests is really what we need to be looking at, and then extending and expanding the forests themselves allows us a lot more sort of strength. Asphodel worships the pretender Chirocles, the Lord of Eloquence, Master of the Healing Arts, Master of Silence. And that's sort of where we are in through there. We'll just go and click on OK. We're not seeing the actual makeup of who we actually are from that. That's only really sort of showing us the... we're not seeing the actual pretender god itself. I wonder how I can do that to sort of show what's going on there. I haven't actually done anything just yet. What I might just do is quickly go and... I should be able to see it here somewhere. I thought that was it. I'll just blow my nose. Hi Oliver, how are you going? My YouTube stream is 5 seconds late. So our voice and screen. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what you mean, mate. You may have to just restart it, I guess. If it's doing that, there shouldn't be any. There's nothing I can do from this end. Sorry, I don't have any control over the sync issues. But it'd be interesting to see if there is anything else. Yeah. So and Chirocles is not actually on the map itself, so we don't have that particular one. And what I might do is I might just go and quit without saving, and we'll just go in and create a new world. I don't think I saved this particular one. Go in and have a quick look. It would have been Middle Ages. Actually, I don't know if I won't do this. I won't worry about it. I'll just go back in and we'll figure it out as we go. We sort of can see different things. By the way, the mods I'm playing with is Nation Overview and Sprite Overhaul. These are just things that give you even more information and then change graphics a little bit, but not a hell of a lot. Let's just go and continue the old game. Play the game through there. So I can't get exact access to what we ended up doing, but this is essentially the Dominion. When we go back to Asphodel, usually we're going to be able to see what we actually chose as in terms of our Dominion. So we've got Dominion of 4. I think I chose even higher than that, to be honest. This is actually the number of, and we can do that by going into recruitment. We've got 5 holy points. So I chose Dominion 5 because that's going to be how many holy units we can bring in at a time. We can change that by getting more and more temples. Like, so as we build temples, that becomes more. We can raise the Dominion level. This is order, so we have a little bit of. Okay, so this province is under the influence of Chirocles Dominion. So we're currently at level 4 with Dominion, but we did choose level 5 for our start. So that's sort of pretty much going to be the maximum Dominion that we can actually then go and have. This is also the name of the game is Dominion, because spreading the word of your God is the important thing with what we end up doing. So we've got order 1, so we have a little bit more income, a little bit more resources. Random events go down a little bit. Sloth 2, this one chooses, we end up with a lot less resources and a bit less income. For us, income is more important than resources. We don't need a lot of resources playing as Asphodel. Resources, think armor, think in equipment, whereas like the gold is just thinking raw troop numbers. So for us, we have very limited need for armor on our forces. Like the Minotaurs will probably be the one thing that will have a lot of armor, but even that's not dramatic. So when we had a look at the first had a look at the different units we had, we would have looked and thought, okay, well, resources are not really all that important. So by going with 2 sloth, we end up with two extra levels of changing the overall dominion or these aspects of the game, giving us even more points. We went with Heat 1 as well. This also reduces the income down a little bit, and also the supplies, but again, it gives us more points. This allows us to push growth up to 4. And so at growth 4, the income goes up by 4%, supplies go up by 40%, growth goes up by 0.8, but the big one for us is slowly turns plains into forests. That's the one that we need to have. So we need to spread that level 4 dominion out into the plains for them to then grow. Misfortune, so random events goes up, and the chances they're good goes down by 10%. And then magic 3, and so we end up with a high magic, high growth faction. Essentially, is really what we're sort of playing as. So we sort of see that one in through here. That can change as well as things sort of develop. You can see there that the little candles that are showing in through here are showing the spread of dominion into these different areas and the strength of that dominion. So we've got, and it's important when you're playing the game, when you're new to the game, you get advantages by attacking into dominion that you're friendly with. So the next one that we're going to have is ultimately I think we've brought our armies back into Asphodel itself at this stage. This is probably like turn 3 or something, and turn 3 or 4, and we now have a choice. We're not going to be strong enough to take on Plothai here with the Throne of Ascension. So I'm going to leave that just for a little while. But the Sleepy Mountains, which have got like about 40 enemy units, consisting of mainly light infantry, militias, and archers. So that's definitely something we can go and take fairly quickly. And then we have this one here, Rid, back over this other side, and again 40 enemy units, militias, heavy infantry, and light infantry. So that's sort of like what we think it actually is. Graphically, we often sort of see what the supposed number is. So we have rough idea of what we're going into when we sort of have neighbours like this. For example, over here we have like a strange sort of green troll in through there. And you can see this province consists of mainly 7 enemy units, mainly forest trolls. So we can see that there's going to be troll units back in through here. This is going to be a special, like Druid land, looks to be a special type of location. So I've moved away from, even though I've got Dominion in there, I'm moving away back from there to try to get what's called the cap circle. The cap circle is, if I go and click on this one through here, pretty much everything touching the capital. And what this one does is it feeds in administration into my actual capital itself. So at the moment I've got Borewoods is feeding into Asphodel. So the more of these I capture, the more resources we have coming into Asphodel itself. And so this is quite important. And the way that one works is that you've then got, like, for example, we've got a fortification in through here. If we go and have a look at this one through here, we have an administration there of 25, the commander bonus points of 1, recruitment bonus points of 75%. This one is just the basic level of what the fort does, but the administration is the important thing there. And what it does is it takes 25%, I think is how it works, 25% of the of what the neighbouring provinces are generating, and brings that into the faction, into the fortress itself, as long as we control those other sides. So this is what we end up having as a garrison back in through here as well. And so the administration, here we go. A high administration value means the castle will be able to gather more resources from the neighbouring provinces and tax the province more efficiently. It also provides extra supplies for nearby troops, although the supply bonus decreases as troops leave the vicinity of the castle. So as we sort of move away from the castle, we can have like a very dead area, but if there's a castle near to it with administration, we can then sort of push it out even further. Now, 25 admin is pretty low, but that's Asphodel is not a high administration faction, so we don't really need to rely heavily on it. But other ones do. If we have a look at the other factions, and I'll spend a bit of time just going through these Pretenders of the World. So some of them are fairly important, like this one here is Vanheim. Not that I can sort of show what their ones are like. We've got Shiniyama. Marignon is like a French Knights faction. Pythium back in through here as well. There's some interesting factions actually in through here as well. We've got Ermor, which is an undead faction, like purely undead. That's 2 undead for us, but not terrible. So Ermor is, essentially you can see they don't have any commanders or units. They have to raise the dead. And so this is sort of like based on ancient Rome / ancient Egypt, I guess. And so they have to they basically kill the land. So their whole aspect is that they have death limits of +2. Ours is a growth limit. Death and growth are the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of the scales and blesses. And so they try to kill the land. We try to make the land into carrion forests. So it's very, very different. These if Ermor gets a big hold on the map, they'll destroy the world, and that's sort of the way it works. So Ermor is an interesting one to have in the game. Pythium is this is the Emerald Empire. This is sort of like a bit of a combination between Rome and sort of like the lizard men. So you've got things like they've got hydras, they've got serpent cataphracts. If we have a look at some of their basic units, like the Principe, this is like a Roman type unit that they actually have in through here as well. But these are humans. This should tell us there. Splinter Empire, the Great Emperor of Ermor. So in the early age, Ermor was essentially Rome. In fact, if you sort of spell it backwards, it says Rome. But this is, and so the lore of the game is playing in the Middle Ages, which was what we're doing. This is a fragment from the Ermor of the early age, which is essentially Rome. This is now a land where things have crumbled. They've I don't know if it should. Yeah, they've got using hydras and marshes. I don't even know if they've got lizard men. Yeah, these are all just humans. Yeah, I think they're purely humans. So they don't actually have any of the lizard men. There's a faction called Satis as well. Like there's heaps of factions in the game, and they are the lizard men. So that's Pythium. So we end up with two fragmented factions from the old Ermor, one an undead faction and one essentially a swamp faction. We've got Chaga, which is Marignon. Marignon is essentially French knights, and so we've got like heavily armoured, knights the Chalice in through here, for example, which are sort of like these ultimately would be quite expensive to sort of go and build these into it. These are sacred troops. Sacred troops are important to understand how they work. So this is a feudal theocracy, yeah. So they've got witch hunters, things like that. So they're not really a big problem in terms of changing the world. Then we've got Shiniyama, which is essentially a Bakamanu slaves and human servants. So this is essentially like the ghosts of Japan, like Japanese ghost type faction, which again is fairly interesting with like goblins and so on and so forth that they end up using. The Bakamano, which is sort of like an ogre. So they've got like different sorts of ghostly type Japanese groups. And they've got Manslave Vanheim. Vanheim is the elves of the Norse elves. And so these actually usually like a bit of cold, but we're not sort of seeing anything that they actually end up having with cold. But they're the different factions that we're ultimately going to be coming up against. All right, let's go back in and now sort of just, I think we've sort of done enough of a setup as to what's going on with the game. So Cosmora saying this is a new game. No, we started it last time, and it takes a long time to explain how to start the game. So there is actually a part 1, which was really just getting our Pretender God established. And I can't even remember who the Pretender God actually is, to be honest. I will have turned the Pretender God off for like the first year or so, and then it'll come in, and then we'll be able to make use of it. But initially, we're going to have to just muddle our way through. I thought that I could find out exactly the information through here with the Pretender Gods. So Chirocles is who we've actually got, but it doesn't actually tell me in here. Yeah, so it's got the so I can't see what these scales are. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll get back to that. All right, so. In Asphodel, we've actually got things, for example, like we're getting lots of nature gems, we're getting some death gems. Our income, we're getting 385 per turn. We are using 65 of this for the upkeep of our current army, and our treasury has got 293 in it at the moment. So that's sort of what we end up having. The different groups that we actually end up having. By the way, this is a DasTactic game, so we've got Sev 82 is actually our disciple, or not our disciple, our essentially the prophet. He's the prophet of our God, and so he's a high level, like he is the actual prophet. So he comes in with a few other abilities that we don't normally sort of get to see. So everyone can have a prophet, and we've actually chosen this Minotaur to be that prophet, and Sev has claimed the name on that particular one. So if you're watching on Twitch, you can redeem different groups. We've got a few different ones that have been redeemed, but over time we're going to end up with more and more sort of useful and meaningful commanders. So we can rename the commanders. And so he's our prophet. He's a priest level 3, which is required for doing a lot of the things in the actual game itself. He's blessed. You automatically get the blessings if it comes in. At the moment, we don't have anything meaningful with our blessings until the god comes into the game for us. And again, I'll talk more about that when that does actually occur. And we have different abilities back and through here. But essentially, Sev is a priestly fighting unit that we actually have. Supreme Plague is a carrion centaur. This is actually a centaur that was raised from the dead. And so this one is a level 1 priest back and through this other side. It's got a whole lot of different things it can then go and do. It's got the sleep vines. It's got hooves that it actually attacks with. And so this essentially is can lead undead. Excuse me, in what we're doing. It's got a little bit of leadership in through here as well. I'll talk about that when we sort of get into it. But you can see there the main army is being controlled by Supreme Plague. Then we have two researchers just sort of sitting in here at this point in time as well. And if I go back into Asphodel itself and have a look at the recruitment levels, if I just press, if I go to army setup, this is actually going to then show who is being controlled by who in the group itself. We don't have anything left in the garrison. We've taken everything out of the garrison at this point in time and moved them into the 2 different groups. So Sev has got a group of Minotaurs back and through this other side. These are black Minotaurs. Black Minotaurs are sacred, and we want to keep these alive as much as we possibly can when we go into the fight, because ultimately when our god comes into the map, the blessing that we end up having for these guys, at the moment all we get is a +1 morale, which is not really all that dramatic, but I forget what we've chosen. I think it's regeneration. I think when our god comes in, we can end up regenerating these, where they get 10% of their hit points every turn for everyone that's been damaged. So they're going to go from they're going to be getting 3 hit points per turn for any damage that is taken, which means that they have to be killed pretty quickly in battle for that to be to not be a big problem. So I'm still going to bring them into their fights because we still need them a little bit. We also then have the centaurs. And so these are archer units, and so these are going to have a longbow, which is a very, very long-range weapon. So we've got a range of 45 squares, and the precision is very high there at 12. That's about as high as you get in the game. So it's amongst the highest of any type of unit. So we want to get more and more of these. Supreme Plague is really just handling a whole lot of satyrs that we end up having. These are the chaff. So we've got satyrs from Asphodel back and through this other side. These guys they're undisciplined. They're just going to be a big group. You can see how I've got them laid out. These guys are over the other side, off to the side into here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and change where these black Minotaurs are and just move them back a little bit. I really don't want them being in too much into the attack until we're ready for that to happen. So we've got the black Minotaurs over here. The centaurs are in through this other side. We've got a lot of the undead are actually sort of in around our commanders. Our commanders are in the middle, and then we have all the satyrs in the middle of the map. And they're just going to be the main force that we use for attacking. I don't care if they get killed. So that's what we have in through there. The undead are just essentially going to be... these are undisciplined, they just do their own thing. And these as well, we can't really do a hell of a lot in terms of battle orders for what these do either. So I'm just going to leave them to just do their own thing. You can see there with them being undisciplined, they lose a bit of morale there anyway. All right, so that's what we end up having. If I go back to recruitment, so if I press the R key with this one, I can then go and start to recruit different units. Now, we don't have a hell of a lot of gold. I want to make sure I keep on getting my Minotaurs because I can get 4 of them with the gold that we end up having. So I want to keep on getting my sacred troops. You can see there that as I bring these in, the holy points goes down because I can only bring in a certain number of these. Now I don't have enough gold to bring these in. The resources for these units, you can see down through there, 70 gold and only 6 resources. They don't need a lot of a lot of equipment. If I go and right click on them, we can then sort of see that the gold cost is 70, the resource cost is 6. And this is why we went with sloth, for example, so that we didn't have to worry about about collecting resources, because we don't need them. We need gold, we don't need resources. So it just allows us to spend it on other things. And so these are ultimately, as I said before, they're going to be sacred. So these are ultimately, when our god comes in, they're going to be very, very powerful. They're going to have trample, they're going to have berserker, they're going to have forest survival and recuperation. So I'm hoping initially that I can keep them alive. Now we have to make a choice, because we've recruited them but haven't actually really done anything with them. Actually, one thing I might just do is I might just go back and press R again. I can bring in different groups. Actually, who am I bringing in at this stage? I'm bringing in these black dryads. These are my base level researchers, and I do want to keep on researching as we go. Probably almost as much as I want to be bringing in the others as well. So I probably don't have enough to really go and recruit. Is what they're there. 215 gold. I think it's more important to get 4 of those at this stage than 1 of these. The Satyrs are not going to cost a hell of a lot, but I won't worry about bringing those in. The Satyr sneaks, these are sort of more stealthy. Then we've got the Satyrs back in through this other side as well, which I won't worry about. So we've got a whole range of different sorts of units we can bring in. Let's just go and leave that one there. So I won't worry about too much more about those. Now, with the force that we end up having, Supreme Plague and Sev, if I go and click on them, they've been working together to take over Ball Woods, for example. Ball Woods, if we go back and have a look in there and look at recruitment, I can recruit some units from in here, but again, I've only got the 13 gold now. That's a global resource. The resources themselves are per province. And the holy points are per province as well. Yeah, which, not that we can sort of do much with that. Quite often it's difficult to get the sacred units from different locations. If we can find a special location with sacred units, then that's going to be very, very valuable. But in this case, it's not going to really be the case. We did have barbarians in through here. Possibly that barbarian chief that was killed was in the when we had a look at the heroes of the world. It possibly was from this faction, for all I know. But there's nothing else in here that I really need, so I'm going to just exit out of that one. Let's double check if I went with the province defense. If I just go D, you've got 6. I like to have about 6 in each one of them. It just stops them from being raided. Okay, let's now go back out, and we now need to make a choice between Sleepy Mountains and Rid. Now, if I can go and attack Rid and then sweep up through the Sleepy Mountains, I won't need to do anything really in terms, like if I can get through pretty much unscathed, I'm going to be okay in terms of sweeping out to here, sweeping up to there, and then potentially sweeping into here. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to take this at the end of that sweep, and I definitely don't think I can actually easily take the throne at this point in time. So my best bet is probably to go up to here, take this province first, because it's inside my dominion. So I end up with extra morale bonuses, which keeps me in the fight. And then I can come down to Rid if I don't take too many losses. And hopefully by that stage, the dominion is then spread into here as well. So we're then sort of so the border is not what we control. It's the flags that are what we control. We only control these 2. But I think that's our best bet initially, is to attack this one here, because we have dominion in that one. And I'm going to have to come back to Asphodel anyway to get to Plothai. So we just need to keep on building that one up. We may not even do that until our pretender god is on the map. Let's go in here. We'll just go and move our army up. So they're just going to now move up into that faction. I'm just left clicking on that one with those 2 selected. They've been scripted already to do what they have to do. Excuse me. And so we'll just see what actually happens there. There's nothing else really for us to do this turn, so let's just go and end our turn here. By the way, the game doesn't have any save function, so just be aware that I think we've got 2 commanders doing nothing. I'm going to cancel that. If I press the N key, I can then go and see who we've got. Now we've got a couple of we've got Secretorius in through here, which is this is a black harpy, which is our stealthy sort of flying scouts, so we can sort of find out different things about the map. This is a gateway to Endless Caverns, and I don't think I can see what's in through here. So I'm just going to go and actually that looks like it may. I might just go down and have a look at this. So I don't think we've had a look at that one just yet. Then we've got another one in through here. When I press N, this is Echidna. This is one that we now actually have there's Ermor, actually. So we've found Ermor straight away, which is a problem for us. We're going to have to crush Ermor. So they start off in a wasteland, and they're going to make everything else wasteland. In fact, you can see there that Dominion, the fight for the Dominion here, they control that already. I'm going to keep on having a look around Ermor. I don't want to go into Ermor because they'll be patrolling and looking for hidden creatures. But Ermor is something we're going to need to crush. They're going to be building up an undead army. So that's actually interesting already. That's going to really severely limit what we can do with... Because all these plains that we see through here should become forest. Technically, the way that things sort of work. But we've got a bit of work to do. So anyway, that's... so we've got... if I just go and have a look at... Oops, go that way. And just right-click on this one through here. We don't know much about Ermor at this point in time. We'll have a look at that. At least we've found out where that actually is. I would have hoped that it was somewhere a lot further away in the map than where that actually is. That's a little bit too close for comfort. All right, we'll end our turn now. Okay, so tip of the turn to pass through a mountain pass. Actually, I missed all that. There's different things, like depending on the heat of the actual map, like with the different areas. We're in summer at the moment, so this is late summer in the year zero. Proclamation by Pythium and Marignon. They've actually now proclaimed that they've now got a new... Apollusius, the battle deacon of Pythium, shall hereby be known as the prophet of Pagar, the august lord, the prince of the power of the air, the one afar above, the king of kings. So often the names will give you a clue as to how they've been built. So it's actually fairly interesting the way that one does actually then go and work. And Marignon has also got one here as well. So, king of stony ground, master of forgiving, master of the harvest. So we're looking at growth. We're looking at a few different things in through there as well. So that's a high inquisitor, has been made the prophet of Chaga. So we've got a couple of different battles. This is actually one where we see Ermor in combat. So we can now start to see what they're doing as well. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. Just read a few more of the comments. So Raffian saying Pythium is located in the swamps of Ceramatia. So it's more in the successor to Ceramatia than Cetis. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, that way. Yeah, so there's so many different factions. There's 100 and something different factions in the game. Seeking Meta saying what? No save game. Yeah, it's very much a it's very much a trial by error sort of game without being able to do an actual save. What I might do is if you're new to the game and you really don't know how to play it, there's some things you can do which you can actually essentially make a save game. So I might even show you how that one works. It's a little bit convoluted, but it certainly is helpful if you're trying to, if you think, okay, look, I'm really unsure about this particular attack that I'm going to be doing. I want to experiment. So if you're wanting to experiment with different things, even with different scripting, I should even do a video on that actually, because I've made maps to help with that process where you can actually go and build a test arena. So I've actually got a few maps on the in the Steam workshop. For testing different builds. But if let's just say, for example, I'll show you actually when we do this one. I'll look at these different messages and we'll just go through. Let's go and view the battle here in Ermor. Now you can see through here that this is Ermor attacking Independence. There's a battle in the wetlands. We had moved our scout into the wetlands, so we're watching the battle. We're not involved in this particular battle. It's in grey, so we don't have anything really going on there. If we just go and view the battle. So it's this sort of swampy area. So Ermor is coming in. Now, if we just pause this for a second, there's a few little things that's always a good idea to set up when you are playing the game. If I press the question mark, pretty much any screen is going to give me information if I press the question mark. So the important things to sort of set up when you start playing the game, and it resets back to sort of default every time you start the game up again. Excuse me, is that you've got things like slow motion, Z. X is super slow motion. Next round is you can sort of push the replay because it's an auto battler, so it's sort of built for multiplayer, but it's also great as a single player game. You quit Q to quit the battle replay. The miscellaneous, though, show the grid can be very, very helpful, just in terms of understanding what's going on. So we'll do that. Hide the world just hides what's behind it. That doesn't really do anything. Team coloured squares. I know people like me to put that on just so you can see who's controlling what squares on the map. Show the battle round counter. I like this, so I always turn that one on. Then the log detail from 1 to 4, and then it's got a whole lot of other different things as well. Weather and Dominion, diversion information, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in here, but the main ones we want to do is press on G, which will then put on the battle grid, and I can then, hang on, I always do WASDs. That was W, which is the world. I can turn the world off and just purely play with the actual group themselves. And so this is Ermor coming in. Now we saw that Ermor didn't actually have the ability to raise any actual troops, but you can see there that they look like they're Roman troops, but they're actually skeletons. Skeletons of old Rome, of ancient Rome. So they've got different sort of groups coming back in through this other side. So that's going to be them. C is going to then colour below them. Actually, I'll just put G back on again. So we've got G, we've got C. So we can now sort of see who's doing what. Now, I won't go into too much detail with what they're doing, except that we can sort of see that there's like 3 characters per a square, and they're sort of moving through. It looks like they've got javelins back in through here. We've got long dead Valetes from Ermor. And so these are, you can see that they're undead in through this other side. We can sort of see detail about them. They've got a spear and a javelin, is how they sort of then go and work. Undead are going to be difficult to fight in some ways, but it's a fairly sizable army already, and they're going up against some independents, which will be over here somewhere. Here they are. So this independent group, this is an interesting group actually. These are, this is actually a special location. Interesting. Okay, this is not just your stock standard group in the forest here. They've got a few Ents, dark vines from, well, they're not Ents, they're not as big as that, but they've got tentacles back in through this other side. They've got woodmen groups in through here. Maybe they are just woodmen. In through here, though, we've got like druids. So bloodhenge druids. These are going to be blood magic druids, and so they've got these slaves. These are blood slaves, and so these blood slaves essentially are mindless, and they feed the druids, and so it becomes quite difficult to play as these. But there's going to be a lot of magic. This is going to be an interesting fight. Let's just go and turn a few of the other things on. R was the round number. We're in combat round number 0. If I press the number 1 through to 4, number 1 is just going to turn on the most basic of the logs. Number 2 is going to bring in. Like number 1 is essentially no log. Number 2 just gives me really, really basic information. Number 3 gives me other information. I like number 3 probably as my default. Number 4 gives me very, very specific information about every single little hit. We'll have a look at this in a bit of detail. This is going to be an interesting sort of look at everything, to be honest. So we've got like one of the characters called Emmerich prepares to cast Sabbath Slave. That's going to have to be through here. We can see Sabbath Slave being cast down through there. So that would be Lemric there. Lemric, the Bloodhenge Druid. So he is casting Sabbath Slave. So Nuantha is preparing to cast Loa Enlarge. And if we have a look at the at these and through here, we've got Enlarge being cast by this guy here. That will be Voldan, and we also have in the same square Pagabar. That's different again as well. Nuantha. Oh, there we go. That'll be him over here. Yeah, there's Nuantha. There's lots of druids in here, actually. This is going to be an interesting fight. Another Sabbath Slave. This is going to empower the blood druids. Pagabar Enlarge, and the Voldan preparing to cast Sabbath Master. So they've got a smallish army, but with a lot of magic. And so they've got like these different characters coming in. These are going to be fairly weak. These woodsman blowpipes. They're not going to be able to hold up against the forces of Ermor. So Ermor is now moving through. Ermor has got like a couple of commanders by looks of things. There's a lictor from Ermor, which I'm sort of hopeful that they end up being killed. This is a sacred unit that they've actually got out in front. And so these are going to be fairly strong. like with battle axes and hauberks and stuff. We've got another one in through here, which is the sensor. If we see leadership, we know that this is the main leader of the actual group, or we think it is. Does that one have leadership? No, that one's just a unit on its own. What did it have there? View active cloud effects in the square. So there is actually a frost cloud around that one. So it's actually causing frost, which is going to then freeze the other guys. When we go up and fight them, it's sort of important for us to know what they're likely to do. This is a knight who also is just a unit. I think we're only dealing with the one actual leader. Maybe there's another leader there, actually. This is the sensor. Yeah, this one's another leader. So we've got another two leaders coming in with the actual group. We can get more information. But then we're going to see like a lot of these spearmen coming back through with their javelins and spears. So these have only got 5 hit points, but they do actually have other benefits. Like it's going to be hard for the blow darters to do any real damage. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of damage can be caused by these guys here. Let's just go and play the battle out a little bit. So they're moving up towards them. Now they're actually casting the spells, so we can sort of see the enlargement is being cast on different units. And they're now got the they're sacrificing some of their slaves. So some of their slaves are now being sacrificed to bolster the blood druid aspect of the actual group. See how some of them are becoming large now, and so their slaves will be sacrificed to their sort of blood god. They're now casting bark skin, and they're casting enlarge again as well. These guys are moving up to try to... The undead knights are now moving forward to attack the others. These guys are going to be absolutely crushed, I think. I'm certainly thinking that Ermor has got the easy aspects here. So they're actually attacking this one here. Now, every single hit is modelled on the actual unit itself. And so this one here has still got 6 hit points. It's got a total of 6, so it didn't actually take any damage. But maybe this one here has usually got 11. Yeah, it took one point of damage there. So I can replay the battles, but I can't actually. It's just showing what actually happened. Yeah, 1 point of damage went in through with the blow darts, but they're going to be smashed. If I just press the Z key, I can then go into slow-mo mode and just start to sort of watch what is happening. So we're now in combat round number 2. Not that that matters that much. It's just like for every combat round is essentially what they can then go and do in terms of their spell casting. But these vines, unfortunately, are not going to get close enough to be able to smash these. There we go, smash. And so that one knight, we can see what happened here. If I go into that one knight there to see what did he do? What actually happened to that particular group? We saw all 3 of the little guys in here got destroyed with big numbers, 27, 20, and 19. Got absolutely smashed by these guys. So we have to be careful of what's going to happen with this. If I go and have a look at this guy and then press F1, is it F1? Or is it, I thought it was. Hang on, just let me have a quick look again. If I go and right click, V is what I need to then go and click on. View the battle log regarding this unit. So if I have a unit selected and press V, I can then see what he actually did do. And so the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre hit the woodman blowpipe in the body with a lance for 27 points of damage. The target was killed. That's that little 27 that we see through there. It then tells us what actually happened there. So the attack roll was 21 versus a defense roll of 15. So these have got very, very high attack. The charge increased the damage by 10, which is why when they first hit, the very first hit is the most devastating. So that would have been, so that's been increased. So damage roll of 27 plus 15 versus protection roll of 5 plus 10 of the Woodman Blowpipe equals 27 points of damage. So they had essentially the 15 extra that it ended up having. Now, why is it 15 and not 10? Like it's because it's showing there the charge increased the damage by 10, and they could do protection. I should actually try to explain exactly what's going on through here. So we're seeing the knight actually hit this one for one hit. If I go and have a look at the lance as an example, and just have a bit of a look at it. So this is a damage of 6 as its default. Charge bonus of a strike weapon. We're looking at just purely a lance on its own here. So it does have a bonus in through this other side, which is the 10. Okay, so again, they've got heavy weapons used when charging, have their charge bonus limited by the wielder's full strength instead of half. So whatever the strength of this unit actually is, 11, is going to be sort of like where that gets applied to the bonuses with the actual lance itself. Now it is a piercing damage, and so the piercing damage, the armor of the target is reduced by 15. I thought that there was going to be a different other bonus we end up getting through there. It may be that it might have been the 10 plus some of the others as well. I'm not exactly sure how that one does work, but it did use the lance as its initial attack. So it uses its lance first. Then once it stops, once it's actually done that first attack, it's then broadswords. But in this first case, there's only one attack that went in. So why did the other two die? If we go back to the actual skeletal horse, so this is a sacred skeletal horse from Ermor, and press V on that one through there, we can see that the sacred skeletal horse missed the blowpipe, so it did nothing through there. But must be one of the others from over here did some damage as well. So so that one had an attack roll of 18 versus a defense roll of 19. So the dodging of these guys, they're going to have a you've got protection, which is armor, and defense skill like a dodge of 9. You then actually apply dice to that to sort of then figure out how you're going to then sort of go and work. So for example, these guys in here, this particular knight, there's actually also underneath him there a swamp flower, which is not actually, this is just a plant, so it's not really doing anything. But in this case, the knight, if I press V again, we should then see that he did damage as well. So we've got he hit the blowpipe in the head for 19. That's at 19 through there. The target was killed. So he was attacking this particular way. So he had a attack roll of 21 versus a defense roll of 20. So that 9 that we see there was actually another. That was actually not too bad. There was 11 in the die rolls to actually then increase that overall to 20. The charge increased damage by 10. So we have damage of 27 plus 9. I'm not sure what the 9 is there. Versus protection roll there of 17, which equals 19 points of damage. So these are being absolutely smashed in this first attack. So for us to come up against these sorts of units, we're going to need to get very, very high armor protection to be able to hold them back, or to find other ways to sort of stop them from being able to use this initial charge. The first charge is devastating. And so if they have a lot of those by the time we meet them, it's going to be a big, big problem. I'm not really explaining this all that well, but essentially each of them comes through. It looks like maybe this horse got the attack in. If I just press V here. Yeah, so this sacred horse hit the blooming woodpipe in the head for 20 points of damage. There's the other 20 through there. And again, we just sort of see how things are sort of then applied. But we'll have a look at that in more detail when we do our own evaluation for what we're doing. But that's a devastating attack on that little square. What this will then do is all of these little blowpipes will then start to lose morale. So their morale is already 9. So they're in. They've got a base of 9. They're in hostile dominion, but it's their home province. So they end up losing 1, adding 1. So the current morale is 9. But as they take more and more damage over time, they have to then start doing more and more morale rolls, and there's a chance that they're then going to turn, which is, I'm thinking, is what's going to happen fairly soon. This guy hasn't hit yet, I don't think, so he actually is still coming in to do his attack. Let's just go and press Z. Now we're doing damage there. Now that's actually interesting. Just pause that for a second. This one here, they've been able to kill off the with the blowpipes, the horse. So the horse was shot from under the feet of this knight. And so this knight now is down to just his broadsword. So that's all he's actually really got. And he's taken damage. He's down to 3 hit points. So they're fighting back in this instance. The overall, the lance, etc., is now sort of finished with what it can then go and do. And so it's now just going to be fighting with the broadsword. So we should see less damage coming in. We did see another 20 in through there. So if we go and have a look at the... which is another big number. We just go and have a look at V and through this other side. We then sort of see the battle from his perspective. So the Knight of the Unholy Sepulchre hit the wooden bowpipe in the head for 11 points of damage. The target was killed. And so we sort of see there that there was 11 points of damage done at one point when he first came in and charged. Then we've got the blowpipe attack, with dagger was repelled by the knight and through there. So it did actually repel an attack that did come back through. The Knight of the Unhope, his mount was then shot out from underneath him at the start there. And he then fell off his mount and did 3 points of damage by falling on the ground. So he's actually taken 3 points of damage. You see the level of detail in this game. It's unbelievable. Not that you tend to look at it in this sort of depth, but Knight of the Unholy Sepulchre hit the woodland bowpipe in the head with a broadsword for 20 points of damage. And so the attack roll here was 25 plus a defense roll of 17, which means that the attack went through. Damage roll of 17 plus 4 versus protection roll of 0 plus 5 of the woodland bowpipe equals 16 points of damage. Damage increased to 20 due to slash damage, which is what I thought was happening with the previous one. But in this case, we've got we've got an attack. We've got to first of all have a 2-hit. So the 2-hit went through no problem at all. Then we have damage, which is if we go and have a look at the actual broadsword itself. So it's got like base of 6. So and the slash damage is increased by 25%. After it goes through. So slash damage is the important thing in through there. It's only got a length of 1, so it's only sort of a small length. So spearmen would be able to hold these guys back. If we had long spearmen, we're going to be able to push back against the knights, and so hold them back to stop their initial charges to a degree. So we could even just use our chaff troops with long spears to the lances themselves, though, were length 3, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so they're length 3, which is so we'd need to have at least length 3 spears in our army to be able to defend it relatively well against them. Okay, so that's now sort of hitting back in through this other side. So he's now sort of fighting. These guys are going to continue fighting. These guys are starting to surround these guys. They may kill off these different knights. I'm just going to pause again. So they're moving it around. Yep, they're taking more damage. Oh, here we go. So there's actually now been imps. So Voldan summoned imps in. And so the imps now are coming in to fight. And these are small. These are small units. We can sort of see that there's like multiple of them in a single square. Like there's 4 units inside this particular square. See how these guys have now turned around? Their morale has now dropped. They've lost their morale rolls. So that's a portion of the battlefield is now running away, which is not good. This one has now lost its mount as well, and it's down to just 2 hit points with what he's doing. And again, if we have a look at V, did he fall off? Yeah, 4 points of damage for falling off his mount. So but the imps will then come in. They've got like different sorts of attacks. They're fire resistant. They've got claws that they then go and use. They're going to be sort of attacking with their claws. Their damage is overall only 9. These guys here, the base damage is 17 with their swords. And that's a lot to do with their strength, and then the power of the broadsword itself as well. The attack value of those is 13. Let's just continue on. Now they're sort of targeting these knights. You see how difficult it is for them to get them. These things are now coming back through. These are mindless, I think. Yeah, so they should stay in. Their morale is extremely high. The tentacles just do base damage. They're not all that strong. They've got low attack. Here we go. There we go. They've killed off the knights. These guys are running away as well. So all of the woodland blowpipe people have now run away. They're summoning more and more imps in with the blood magic. So they're sort of using like imps from the blood aspect. If we look for the commanders, there's a commander there, and I think that's the last commander. If we go and press F1 in this screen, we then get to see who's like what the actual order of battle actually is. So we can sort of see there is actually a censor. One of the leaders from Ermor has been killed. So there's only 2 commanders there. So this censor here was killed, and we can see what actually happened with him as well. So he was hit by a tentacle. So he was actually in the middle of the fight over here somewhere. So a tentacle actually hit him. But we do have another censor that's coming back on the other side. Now he may run. What's his? If we go and have a look at him. This is so Tricati the censor, this one is also undead. So his morale is highish at this point in time. He's diseased and has got battle fright, so he's actually not doing all that well. But can all the imps now get into, and I don't know if these will have morale. Yeah, they've got lowish morale. They will run fairly fast, but can they kill this one off? There's a lot of them. These are mindless. They'll stay in the fight until the whole thing goes. No, we're not getting close enough to that sensor. They're freezing the imps. They're killing the imps off. This one's now too far back. If we have a quick look at the sensor itself. Still got heaps of hit points. And they're now sort of, they've now used up all of their blood slaves. So it wasn't an easy battle. It's still going on. But the undead won't really retreat easily. I'm surprised these imps have stayed in the fight. To be honest, that would have been difficult for them with their morale checks. And these guys here are going to have also, their morale is going to be, because they're undead, they're sort of mindless what they do. This one's now moving forward, which, there we go, that's just been dissolved. That's been dissolved. They're running away now. These are probably exhausted. Yeah, this one's exhausted in through here. Yeah, they're going to be, so essentially they've run. They're no longer going to be doing any other attacks. So if I just quit back out there. So in that particular one, there was a lot of carnage actually happened in through there. So the sensors, one of them got lost. They lost all of their knights. Lictors they lost as well. So they lost a fair few. They lost 42 of their units. And then the Bloodhenge Druids as well. 5 of them escaped, but that doesn't mean anything when it's these sort of combats. So they've escaped to nowhere, so essentially they're gone as well. But so they start off with 38 against 84. So it was a big fight that Ermor brought to that particular location. And so they've now taken that particular location. Whoops, hang on, we'll just go back to messages again. And so we have a battle in the Sleepy Mountains. Let's go and view our battle and see how we go. So we'll just go and pause this again, and you can see there we've still got this sort of attack. I think that was 3 that we've got set up through there. So we don't have any real big scripting from our side of things. You can see down through here that the different armies have been scripted to do different stuff. This is just a big group of nothingness. Now, if we have a look at the forces that we actually end up having through here, these guys, let's just say that we were being attacked by those knights. These have got bronze spears and javelins. The bronze spear is length 3, so it's good to have a longer weapon than your opponent. Unit with a longer weapon will be able to repel the enemy when he tries to attack. Attack skill is used against the enemy defense skill to determine whether the repel is successful or not. A successful repel will not cause any damage. So that's actually sort of what we would then be needing, like a big group of these guys with their spears to be able to hold back those, and just be almost sacrificial initially, just to soak up that initial damage. Now back over here, we end up having like a whole lot of different ranged units by the looks of things. So that we've got archers from the Sleepy Mountains back in through this other side. So some archers. We're looking at different spearmen in here again as well. We've got a group of militia. These have just got spears, which will be length 3 again. And so these are low level. Morale is very, very poor. Back in through this other side as well. And we have extra morale. Morale is critically important to stay in the fights. And if we have a look at our guys, their morale is 9. But we get that bonus because of friendly dominion. So it's important for us to have that. If we, the squad overall, like their base is 9, but the morale squad bonus is -1. So they would normally be 8. So fighting inside dominion is very important for us, for these low level troops. These are going to be sort of like the light infantry. So these are armed with spears again as well, which are going to be length 3. They do have a javelin that they can throw. They do actually have, these have got ringmail cuirasses, so fairly good armour with what they end up having through here, iron caps and a shield. So these are fairly well protected. Like these would be great against those sorts of, those knights that we saw, those undead knights. So what's their abilities in through this other side as well? Their base morale is 10, which is good. So so they're not too bad actually, and we can ultimately recruit different forces if we take them over. So in through here we've got our different commanders. We've got our chaff, we've got the archers backing through this other side, and then the black minotaurs, which we don't really want to be losing them. So we'll just let them sort of, I'll just unpause. They're moving into range. They'll now start to fire. And we're seeing damage being taken. I'm hitting them some in the leg. Doing damage. Now Sever's casting regrowth and quick roots as well. So the two guys at the back are essentially sort of now building, like we're now getting harpy mannequins sort of coming back in. These are they're harpies. I thought they were going to be regenerating some of the plants. We can get some of the plants on the battlefield to come back to life. So that's I'll just leave that one where that is. Now we're going to take a bit of damage here, but we're smashing our way through. Now we're trying to improve their morale in here. The morale is 9. Some of these did actually. We just cast a spell. We've got Holy Avenger is different again, but we want to keep on boosting their morale with our leaders. Yeah, we're trying to do damage. Now there's a priest down through here which is in charge. Now we're losing our minotaurs, which is really not good at all for us. We don't want to be losing them just yet. And so we lost a lot more minotaurs than I really wanted to lose. I think I lost about 3 there. So we did win that one, but if we have a bit of a look, the black minotaurs, we lost 1. Okay, so but they did a lot of damage there at 12. I really got to keep them further out of the fight until we can actually bring more into the actual fight itself. I only went in with 6 actually. That's not too bad. So that's now been sort of set up. We did lose 8 units overall. The satyrs I don't really care about. The carrion horse, carrion boars I don't care about either. It's really only that one minotaur that really does concern me. Sometimes they'll be retreating from the battle, which none of ours did, so that's actually all okay. So we can just exit out of that one and just get back into it. So we now actually have control of the Sleepy Mountains. The first thing I like to do is press D to get province defense and just put it up to 6. Just spend a little bit just to get like basic level defense in that particular faction, in that particular location. Now, the groups that we end up having through here, I want to go back and pick up more troops from in here before we go to Rid. There's no screaming rush to do things in the game. Unfortunately, our Dominion still hasn't gone across to here, which is a bit of a problem. So I'm just going to go and grab the army again and move it back down to Asphodel. Yeah, and then we'll just go back into here. We'll just do recruitment back in through this other side as well. So again, I've got the black minotaurs. I've got 398. I can get all 5 of those this time. This will give me a sizable force. So I've got 48 left over there. Let's just go and have a bit of a look. None of these have got really long spears. Sometimes you'll find units with longish spears. We've got satyr warriors there for 13 gold. Satyrs. These ones here will have better armor. They cost a little bit more. They've got a bit better training in this case as well. I don't mind getting some more of these. Let's just get, say, 3 of those at this stage. I won't get any more commanders just yet. Alright, so we'll just keep on going that way. So that gives us another, inside Asphodel itself, we're now going to be picking a bit more of the income coming from this particular province. And we can sort of see the income coming back over here. This one's actually got a great silver mine, which we've just sort of found as well. So this one is giving us 100 gold per turn, which is extremely useful. That's just right on top of the actual treasury. So that's going to be a massive, massive boost to us. That's a very, very important location based on that. It's going to allow us to get all sorts of things. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water. Be right back. All right. So with that one, what we've now got is we've now bringing our forces back home again. So rather than bouncing off to here, I'm probably strong enough to take it, but I really don't want the attrition of losing troops. So I want to sort of be building them up as much. So I'm just going to treat it fairly, like I'm going to be fairly safe with what I end up doing. So if I'm coming back into this particular location, I'll show you how to do a save file if you need to sort of if you're wanting to sort of experiment. Like let's just say that I thought, no, let's see if we can take this out, or even let's see if we can take this out. I can actually test that. In fact, I might even do that as an exercise, so you can sort of see how to actually go and do that one. Sorry, just read a few more of the comments. So Seeking Matter saying, how long does a typical game last? A fair few hours. It can be a fairly long, depending on how you've got it set up. If you're playing multiplayer, you're talking months. Multiplayer is a WeGo type. The battles are all, you give your orders for your turn, and then you play the turn out. Games typically last probably about 6 years of game time, I guess, somewhere in around there. So that's 6/12s, so 72 turns ish, even more, like up to around about 100 turns. So it can be fairly long, the actual game itself. But if you're playing single player, you can sort of rattle through, and I'm trying to explain as much as I possibly can. So I'm going fairly slowly through here. Seeking Matter saying, I'm talking more about about a game extending over multiple sessions. Do the games play out fast? It's an interesting sort of game in the sense that you are building up and you end up with a plan of how you're going to tackle things. And even now with seeing Ermor with the way that they were fighting, I've got to now find a way to smash through their forces. So I need to think about what they're bringing to the attack, and they're going to be probably fairly early-ish. We're going to need to have a way of fighting them. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. So this is where the game is awesome, like in terms of trying to think through the actual problems. So that one there, we did pretty well, but those spears did cause me some issues with my Minotaurs, and I'm a bit reluctant to keep on sending the Minotaurs in because I don't want to be losing those, because they're going to become very, very powerful when our god does arrive, and then we can have a real close look at everything else that's going on through there. I'll come back, I'll show you how to do the save game stuff. Well, let's go and do it here. Let's go and say these guys here are going to attack into this location. So as an example, if I wanted to just, and I know that this is not really going to be, I may be able to take it, but I'm not really comfortable doing this. So I wouldn't do this, but let's just say I wanted to think, okay, what's going to happen? This is sort of cheating in the game. This is like, most games nowadays actually encourage save scumming. This game doesn't. This one does the opposite. It makes it as hard as possible to save scum as possible. But having said that, I think one of the best ways to learn any game, particularly with a game with complexity, is to save scum. So what you do when you do this, you start your turn off like this. You do everything you want to do in your turn. You press escape and you go save game and quit. So you just go and click on that one through there. That then takes you out to this particular screen. You then go to Tools and Manuals, and then go to the Open the User Data Directory. And so you end up with the data directory in through here. You've then got saved games back in through this other side. You've then got the name of the saved game that you then ended up having in through this other side. And so if you go to Twitch, YouTube, back in this other side, if I go back inside there's a whole lot of different things in here about the actual current file and what's going on. The easiest way to go back to save games, go to the one you've got and just do a right click, and I just use 7-zip to compress it. So I don't have one called Twitch YouTube not 7-zip 7Z. You can see there I've got another one that was saved there as well. You can, if you're wanting to, not have it sort of saved like big files like this. You see I've got one called Twitch. I'll just delete that one. That's an old one that I was probably showing it off. What I'll typically do at that point is, if I'm going to have like multiple turns and I'm doing this one, I'll just go and rename that. So it's got that one through there. So in 7-zip, oh hang on, let's open with, should just open up in 7-zip. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's got the actual, everything that was in there. That's how you can, that's one way of doing it. The other one is to go inside the actual file itself and save this file here, the Asphodel TRN file. And I'll just show you that as well. If I just go and just do a 7-zip through there as well. So I'm just going to save that one too. And I keep them in the .7z's. So I'll just go and save that one. So it's a much smaller file then to sort of go and do it. And again, I'll just go and rename. It's convoluted to do it this way, but it does allow you, if you really are unsure and you're wanting to learn, with scripting or something like that, you can then just go and do that. And I'm pretty sure that's the only one that we have to do from the TRN file. I think that was it. The TRN, actually, that may not be it. That may not be it. It's possibly actually these other two, the 2H files. Actually, you've got the Vanheim. I don't know why Vanheim is there. That's, yeah, that one shouldn't be there. I'm pretty sure. So when we were setting it up, I don't know why Vanheim is actually in there, but it might be the 2H file. I can't remember which one of those it is. Let's just be safe. Let's go and ditch this one. I've forgotten which one. It's going to grab both of those, but they're the files that essentially are the ones. I don't think that one we have to worry about. But if I just go and I've got the other one saved up anyway. So 7-zip. Let's go and add it into there. I'll just leave it there for now. But if I then just go and close that one down, press exit, continue old game, Twitch, YouTube, play the game, and then end my turn. So this is the same one that we came into before. If I then just go and end the turn as an example, I'll just go yes. So we can sit and see what happened with the actual battle itself. So we can then sort of analyze what did our scripting do, how good was it, what are they doing. So this is actually going up against the throne. There's like a powerful unit back through there. We may even win this, but I'm not going to do it. I want to make sure that I can come in properly and prepare for it. One thing I'm interested in doing through here when I come into like a throne like this is to have a quick look at the different forces, just see if there's anything that indicates any sort of disease, which there's not, which means that this is not a disease location by the looks of things, which is excellent. And we have to get through this shaman at the back here. That's going to be sort of one of the major issues that we have to contend with. So we're dealing with a lot of archery, but I can sort of do my planning just by doing this sort of attack and just seeing how we go. So we've been wiped out through there. Yeah, they're still going. They're bringing in plants to fight against my forces. So my Minotaurs are now going to be wiped out. This one's coming in to try to get to this leader. These are coming in to protect the leader. Smashing his way through. There's really nothing left. If he can reach that guy and keep his morale, which his morale is pretty good, he may actually win this. No, his morale just dropped. Oh no, he's going off to fight other things. He's going to get killed. He almost had the whole thing. He almost won the battle. But so that's a bad loss for us, essentially. I'll just quit out. So in that case, actually that was a different one. But we can then sort of see what actually happened. Actually, we did conquer it in the end. So we conquered it with our centaurs. Although the centaurs didn't do a real lot of damage. It was those black minotaurs. But the black minotaurs was pretty much wiped out. So they ended up giving up. So it's sort of one of those things where that we did end up outperforming them in that particular instance. But that's not what I want to be doing. So even though we end up taking that, it's not something that I really want to be doing. I can now see if I'm wanting to have a quick look and think, okay, what was that? What is this location? This is the Throne of Pestilence. Yeah, so this is actually the one where Dominion gets death +1. And that's actually bad for us, I'm just thinking, because what that does do is it does mean that if we do take this throne, we end up taking our growth from 4 to 3, which means we won't get forests. So this is actually a site that I'm really not wanting to claim, which is a problem. So even if I grab it, it's going to give me some benefits with some of these different areas where we get different sorts of gems and stuff. But in essence, it's actually not a good one for me. I don't. It's not. It's only if I go and claim it that would become a problem. Anyway, we're going to quit without saving. We're going to go back into Tools, open up the user directory. Let's go. I'll just see if that other one does. If I just go back into Twitch, YouTube, and I'm then going to go back in and 7-zip. We're going to extract files here. Yes to all, and that should just take me straight back to where we were. I'll just go and delete those as an example. I've still got the other one just in case, but that essentially should be okay with what we then end up having. So if I just go back out, I'll just double check, click on OK, exit, continue old game. Oh, hopefully this will work. It's safer to save the whole directory. So yeah, there we go. So we're back with the previous turn. So that's how you can test things if you're wanting to. We'll just go and exit out of that one. So we had set up this particular attack. We don't want to do that. So we're going to we're just going to move these back into here. So we're going back in. We're not ready for this just yet. So whoops. I'm pressing WASD. I do that a lot with this game. Now we saw the attack go into the wetlands there, and we're seeing that they've got a throne here. Liss is a throne. Let's go and have a look and see what's in there. So we'll sort of get a bit of a feel for what their throne is. So that throne ultimately is not a good one for us because of the it'll kill the growth a little bit. It'll detract growth from my group, which is almost start again time, to be honest, because that's such a bad one for us to have, and it's the only one that's really close. I'll still keep it going, but it is a bit of a problem. Triplex saying cheat? No, it's test things. Yes, it is a good way to test things. It is a very good way to learn the game as well, is to experiment with doing those sorts of things. Then maybe you come back and change your scripting a little bit with the way that you've got things scripted for your forces, and test it again. It's not onerous to do it. Okay, so where do we get up to in the comments and through here? Yeah, so me, myself, and I was saying, depends on how you set it up. Small map, fast research, things go fast. Yeah, so 450 provinces, 15 players, very slow research will take many, many turns. Yes, that's true. Would you recommend, again, saving the 2H turn files only? The turn file is the turn result, and the 2H file, yeah, I know it's only one of them that you have to. I tend to, the 2H file is your current orders, yeah, but map state and a general state, this is saved separately. Yeah, so it's sort of, like it's safest to save the whole thing, but it is fairly big. Hi Andrew, how are you going? Most happy when games include an auto-save feature. Yes, I think it's well, this game really is about saving what you're up to with your turn. It's not an auto, like you can't use the autosave. You can only like really get out. So it doesn't. The save, I wish it would bring a save feature in, just for people to be able to learn the game more effectively. But this is actually a negative with the game, I think, is the lack of save. But you can get around it if you just do what I just did. So yeah, me myself is saying it does have an inbuilt auto save. You just need to hit either end turn or save and quit. Yes, so it does sort of do it, but so I can quit out midway through my planning, and it will then remember it, like save and quit. Will remember what I'm up to, and then bring it back in when I actually go and do it. Me, myself, and I are saying the player side of the game is basically a client which hands over the turn file to the game server. Yes, yeah, that's the way it works. Okay, so yeah, so Cosmora on Twitch is then sort of saying, oh, hang on, sorry, I'm missing a few of the others. So Tepic's saying, love to see you play the game again. Yep, it's good. And hi Pikachu Song, how you going? So it looks like I've missed a few other comments. I'll just flip up and just see what I've actually missed. Oh, not too many. So we've got the Spring Flag. So my favourite top 3 at the moment is Dom 6, Xenonauts 2. I very nearly played Xenonauts 2. In fact, I had that one lined up to play, then I saw Dom 6 in the list, and I thought, I'll play that instead. It's been a little while since I played it. And Rimworld as well is another one I was going to be playing as well. So Cosmora is saying this is a new game. We started, I think I did answer that one before. We started this one a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so yeah, so Hoffman is saying I believe in the relay supremacy. Only a demons too, says Cosmoro. I love watching this game. Unsure if I could handle playing it. It's actually great to play. Like it's a, depending on who you play as. Like there's some factions are easier to play than others. But it's a very rewarding game to play because each faction does play so differently. Okay, so Spring Playing saying didn't go with the Titan of Mandagora, that big green giant thing. I forget what we chose, to be honest. So is this a Wraith Lord free zone? I'm not sure yet. Isn't the 9 the damage roll? I'm not sure, but we're talking about there. And 27th, yeah, that's the charge. So yeah, I forget, sorry, when we were looking at the combat. We'll look at it in more detail there. And Tetra Fight is then saying, oh, Asphodel, my favourite. Yeah, a lot of people like Asphodel. I wasn't going to play them because they're a little bit more complex than some of the others. But yeah, it was like people wanted to have a run of Asphodel, and I do enjoy it as well. Foreman's saying get as many as you can because as your Dominion goes up, you can get more. And you get more. I don't know what you're referring to there, Supreme Plague. Yeah, safe scumming is a controversial technique. It's actually, in this game, you learn a lot. And there's, as I said before, in the Steam Workshop, I think I've got Steam open. If we go to Dominions... and go to Community Hub and go to the Workshop. I've got a couple of I think I explained how to do that as well. It's been a while since I've actually done this one, but in the maps, it probably doesn't feature anywhere really all that highly. If I just go to maps and have a bit of a look. So these are most popular over 1 week. There we go. So this is rated 4 stars. So we've got the arena. This is essentially what the arena is. This is actually a map that I made. Pymus makes some incredible actual game maps, but the arena was done for testing things. That was actually how it was then built. And this is again a basic update of the arena from DOM 5, but this one is a DOM 6. I've still got to have a look to see if there's been any changes. It's been a while since I've actually updated it, back from January of last year, so a year and a half. But this essentially is a tiny little map that allows you to test builds and do different types of things just using the mod system. And yeah, so it should just show you essentially how to do it. But essentially, you save the game as and work your way through to actually set up different sorts of combats. So this one here, you can see I've got like different things in through here as well. Just testing little builds. So I've sort of got like areas of the map that allow you to try things out. There's an underground area. I don't know if I'm showing the underground. There's, but anyway, it's just a very small map. It's not really designed for gameplay as such, but it does allow you to test things in the water, to test things on land, to test things underground, things like that. So there's a whole lot of stuff in that particular one. But that's that in combined with safe scumming, you can then test different sorts of aspects of the game fairly quickly with that particular one. I don't know if I wrote much about that one through there. Hi Vegan, how are you going? Supreme Plague saying an email's having a lot of lag in the stream. I've got good up speeds. I'm just looking at the speeds at the moment. No drop frames, so I don't think it's from my side. Okay, so let's quit out of that one and get back to it. So we're moving back into there. We'll just go and press N. We've got this guy. Just keep on sort of just having a bit of a look underground here. Just a little bit. That's everyone sort of now moved. I'll just go back up top to the Pantocrator's world. So we were underneath here at this stage having a bit of a look. Come back over and we have got nothing left in the treasury. Everything else is okay. We'll just end our turn. Oh, I screwed up here. Sorry, I've just got to go and I'll quit without saving. I will have to bring back in. I didn't bring in enough things when I loaded stuff in. So I'll just go back out to. I knew I did something wrong. I haven't done that sort of save scum with this for a long time. So we'll just go back to save games. I'm going to ditch this one entirely. And we're just going to 7-zip extract here. That will then bring us back to the full lot was then sort of brought back in. So I think I saved too many files. I think the 2H file was the only one that I actually needed to save when I was looking at it before. Just go back and exit. Continue old game. Twitch. Play the game. Bring them back. You've got Treasury of 9. Just press N. That one's going to go down to the to there. Echidna, it's moving down that way. And Secretorius is then moving across into here. That's everyone. And move across to this one as well. Okay, so we've got nothing else that we need to really go and do there. But our income is now really quite nice. There we are. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to need to get more commanders as well, like as in more researchers. So I will actually spend a time to just start to bring them up. So I'll just go back into recruit. I'll bring a Black Dryad in. And that gets my gold way, way down low. I don't know about getting more centaurs in with their longbows. 25 gold. These guys here are ultimately 70 gold. These are expensive for me to lose. Yeah, I think I'll actually bring in... I won't bring any more of the... I sort of want to... I keep on wanting to add them in because I want to keep getting them because I sort of need them. The black centaurs as well. These ones cost less. The hit points are only 23. They're not terrible with what they have. They've got javelins, bronze lances. You know, they may even be better. These have got a defense skill of 17, so they can dodge very, very well. They've only got a protection of 9. If we have a look at these guys here, they've got protection of 9 as well, defense of 9. More hit points, more damage. I think they're 30. Once they hit hard. We may be better off with some black centaurs because these are still sacred as well. I might actually start to switch across and just grab a few of these now and start to have them come back in. So back over here, we've got, well, it said 40 last time. 50 is sort of what we're looking at through here. So we can, I think we can take this one out as well. That gets me most of my cap circle. So let's now go and just go back into the province. This is the army setup, so T, back in through here. So I'm going to bring all of these centaurs into there. I'm going to move these even further back and have them charge right from the very, very back because I want them out of the fight to a large degree. Got all these carrion that are coming in as well. I'll just that should be able to be dropped into there. Why can't Supreme Plague do that? So they're all carrion. Mindless and non-mindless. That should be mindless. Oh, these are different again. I can bring those in. Yeah, these are all just carrion that we've got. So these are all mindless, but these aren't. Sagittarian carcass back in through here. Sleep vines. They've got the carrion bow. These are also sacred, actually. These are pretty cool. Yeah, this one can't lead undead units. I'll leave them back. So, Supreme Plague, if we have a look and see what's happening through here, he's only got a leadership of 50. If I go and click on this one here, squad morale bonus of +0 for up to 2 squads. So he can have 2 squads of different units. So that's pretty much all he can actually have. Sev has got leadership of 75. He can also only have 2 squads. So none of them can really bring a lot of troops in. So we've pretty much got the 4 squads we can bring in with those 2 leaders, which is a bit of a problem, I guess. I wouldn't mind. Have a look at these. We've got different groups in through here as well. So we've got these. These would require leaders to go and bring them in. So we're sort of remaking different groups in these locations. Ultimately, we're going to end up with a big carrion group coming in with Supreme Plague. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll go across. Now, one of the other ways of doing this one, I press T to go and set up my basic army, but if I go and right-click on Rid, which is where I want to be next, and you can see through here, by the way, with Rid, there's a water crossing there, which is going to sort of stop me from moving across there unless this freezes. We're in autumn now, so it's getting colder and colder with the actual locations itself. We're seeing like growth is going high in through this other side. Growth is 3 there. We need these to be 4 to be able to then have a chance for it to then become a forest location. So actually these are mountains. These are highlands and rivers. So I don't think that one can ever be one, but this one here is plains and rivers. So this one could ultimately become a forest location. And we'll need to go and open up into the plains areas itself, but I really can't afford to take that one because I need to, if we get another +1 death, it means we end up with essentially -1 growth is what we end up with. So I don't want that. At the moment I've got 5 growth in there. Actually that's crazy what we have through there. So we've got incredible growth back in Asphodel, which is awesome. Maybe I can afford to get this one, but I'll see what happens. I'm not going to be rushing for that one through there. So anyway, that's we're going to be moving this one out. If I press the T key, I don't have anything in there at this stage, but if I press the Y key, I can then see the units that are coming in and what they're doing. So we've got the different scripting with the with Sev, with the Prophet, sort of doing different spells. A Supreme Plague also does a blessing and then stays behind the troops. We have like big groups in through here. They're going to follow in. These are undisciplined. They just run forward. These are going to be doing what they do. Fire closest and keep distance is these guys. We'll end up with more of these. These ones are just going to attack the rear, but I want to keep them way out of the fight. So what I could even do is go and pause. So I can actually go hold and attack rearmost enemies. So rather than just attack, I can go hold and attack, which keeps them way at the back. And that way we keep them alive, and then they come in at the very, very end of the combat. So let's go and just do that and see how that one works with the scripting. So we'll just go and just press N. Now we do actually have Polydukes. This is actually another commander. Carrion commander. Now I don't know how we got him, so yeah, I think it's just a carrion commander is a dead satyr commander reanimated by it. I think he just reanimated automatically in through there. Well, that's actually useful. So let's just go back into and press T there. Go and bring these in. And so he's also got a leadership of 50, so he can have up to 2 squads. But I might as well use him to wander off. And can he move there in 1? He can. That's good. So he can just move straight across through Asphodel and get to the Ball Woods and pick up other units from there. Got a Echidna in through this other side. What can we tell about this particular location? So we've got 110 units, Jaguar Tribe Warriors, like cavalry's 4 huge wyverns. This is a much more difficult prospect than what we saw. Ermor is spreading out. You can see there that they've now taken a fair few different locations. They're going to be an issue, actually. Let's just move across. Keep on having a bit of a look around. So we're now underground. Just keep on searching under here. Alright, that's fine where we are. So, end our turn. Okay, so one of the thrones has already been claimed. So the Bakameni General has claimed the throne of Summer. So then there's a battle in Red, so we'll have a look at this one through here. So again, these forces are now just going to hover back. We shouldn't have too much trouble here. It's a bigger force than we thought. Yeah, troops are doing okay here. These are different again. These are heavy infantry. So these have actually got much, much better protection. 16 and a defense skill of 11. So these fight fairly well. Here comes these guys again now. That's better actually, because that way at least they stay out of the fight. Just leave the satires to actually to do what they have to do. And by the time they get in here, they're then just finishing things off. We shouldn't lose too many of these. Yeah, they're smashing their way through. These are glass cannons. They do a lot of damage. I think we even lost one. So some of these have taken damage again, I think. 28. This one's actually got an ever-healing wound. But that's okay. And we'll just quick out of that one. So in that particular battle, actually we didn't lose any of them that time. That's good. They still did the most damage because when they hit incredibly hard. Had no one actually run away either, which is good. So that was a good outcome for us. There's a battle in Foldenberg. There's two battles in Foldenberg. In fact, in this case, we see that there's a one group went in there to fight against the independents. Let's go and view this battle. So this is actually near Ermor. Let's see what's happening in through here. Whoops, I keep on pressing WASD. In this case, we actually have like a group of legionnaires from Pythium. So this is Pythium that's fighting. This is interesting. This is old Ermor ultimately going to be fighting itself. So they're fighting low-level troops in through there. So this is not going to last very long. But then Ermor attacks this location as well after the first attack. So this is essentially Rome. Did they have a charge? Yeah, they've only got a light lance. Doesn't do anywhere near as much damage as those big Ermorian cavalry. They've been surrounded. Should then put pressure on them. In fact, I don't know if we can see this. If I go in here, there is a... is it under encumbrance? One of these has got like if you end up becoming surrounded, it shows sort of like an area in through here. It might be under defense. Yeah, this is it here. Harass penalty. They end up with as you become more surrounded, and as you start to take more damage, you end up losing more and more of your dodge ability. And so the harassment is what happens to troops when they become surrounded like this. They fight a lot less effectively. There we go. They're down to just the horses now. So the standard troops in here are sort of dealing with the heavy infantry. Heavy infantry are very, very good. These have taken a lot of damage. And again, they're going to suffer. If we have a look at their defense skill, we should see more and more harassment penalty as they take damage from the superior troops. They've taken damage in this way as well. That's the commanders. There we go. Alright, so that was done. And then we have Ermor then attacks afterwards in the same location. And we're looking at about the same sort of size, actually. This isn't too bad. Got unholy power down through here. This is actually their prophet. Okay, so they're using Skullbreaker, the prophet. So Skullbreaker is a mage of Old Ermor. So this is actually like an undead mage. Lowish hit points. It's invulnerable. An invulnerable unit is very hard to damage with non-magic weapons and will have this amount of natural protection against mundane attacks. So it's essentially not going to be able to be hit. So Ermor should win this one as well, even though their forces look very similar. Let's put the grids down again. Yeah, So this is undead versus living. This is essentially Rome versus Rome. These are long dead principes. The humans should have more hit points. Yeah, 10 at the start. So this could be interesting. These aren't going to give up. And he's summoning more and more in. He's animating the dead. But there's some damage done there. Who's that character? Barbarian Chief. They brought a Barbarian Chief in. Actually, they're doing pretty well. I didn't think that they would be able to fight well against Urmor itself. But Pythium is doing a good job here. This guy's still sort of sending more and more troops in. They're being drip-fed in. It's going to be their morale. Can their morale hold up? There's no one at the back. I've got a funny feeling the Barbarian is the actual leader of the group. Yeah, now they're running. So they've failed one of their morale checks. And that's their commander there. Yeah, now they're running. Yeah, he's gone. All right, so they do end up losing to Urmor. Urmor really doesn't run. So a worldwide event has occurred. This will be because of the Throne of Summer. So Throne of Summer is spreading warmth across the land. Worldwide heat goes up by +1. I don't mind that. Really, it's not going to really worry us all that much. Okay, so we've got rid... Oh, there's Urmor right there. Gee, they've expanded a long way out. I've got to stop them. They must be stopped. But, so they're going to really severely damage what we're trying to do. I think we're going to have to push up. Now in through here we've got about 40 enemy units. Militias, light cavalries and heavy cavalries. There's a bridge across there which does get us into this side of the map. Urmor can fight underwater or above water. Ultimately, with our carrions, we're going to be able to do the same thing. Like if we have a look at Supreme Plague, he is a... where are we? We've got undead through there. We should have a thing where it talks about... Yeah, here we go. Poor Amphibian. So this one, he can cross the water and attack different units across the water. But if we do it from the Sleepy Mountains, in fact, let's just go back into our defense and through this other side, just get it back up to 6 again and exit out of there. So with both of these, I'm going to send them back to Asphodel. I'm going to build up a bigger force. If we have a look at our score graphs now, this could be interesting in terms of what Urmor is actually doing. So if we have a look at, where are the score graphs? Messages, there we are, score graphs there. And so we can see down through here that Marignon hasn't really expanded at all. Pythium is over here with just a couple of, they've got 2 areas. Asphodel and Vanheim, like that's us and Vanheim, where we've got 3. Urmor and Shiniyama have actually got another 2 more again as well. So ultimately we're going to have to smash Urmor. Urmor is just becoming too strong. So they're getting really, really, really powerful. I might take Plothai in the next turn. So let's just go back into here. We'll just go back into recruitment because we're going to have 1 turn. We've only got 431 in there. If we've got another researcher, I'm just going to go and put this one into research. And we do actually have Polydukes in here as well. If I just go back into T, and just go and grab all of those. So we're just getting more and more carrion from everywhere we are. Just go back into T here, throw these in with this group. So I'm still trying to fight within my location. We may be best to go up to here, or either one of these actually, and then we can start to look at trying to at least even dominate this area through here to try to get the growth up as high as we possibly can. We may need to get another priest level out to what do these guys do? Yeah, these got level 1. They're sacred with level 2 priest. So I could even use these to start to spread the Dominion and try to get that as much as we possibly can up into these. Actually, that's mountains, that's plains and mountains. That may become forest. I don't think this one. This is plains as well. I think this one here is the only one that we're not going to really be able to change easily into forest. Okay, so back into here, recruitment. Yeah, let's get all 5 of those. And let's get a heap of these Satyr warriors. We can get a bunch of them. If we run out of recruitment points there at some point. Yep, that's okay. 52 gold. I'll bring another Black Harpy in just as another scout. That'll do us. All right, that's going to give us a nice attack actually, with everything we actually end up having. Go next. Yep, so Polydukes. I'm just going to keep Polydukes there. And oh, here's another one. All right, so we'll just go in and I'll keep that one there as well. So if we just go back across into T and just start to bring in these different forces, so you can start to sort of just collect the carrion from these locations. Yep, that's okay. So we've now got another carrion commander back in through this other side as well. These are going to be good just for bringing forces in. All right, let's end our turn there. Oh, hang on, cancel. Next. So I'm just going to go and patrol the province for now. So we're now sort of seeing, I wouldn't mind seeing where Pythium is, but Ermor really is the one that we need to stop. Ermor's going to sort of crush what we're trying to do here. So nothing underground here. I'll just move. I don't know if I can. Actually, I can move all the way out. I'll just fly across now, and there's nowhere else I can expand into down this way. So we'll move on out of there. Patrol the province. Yeah, we'll end our turn. Okay, we've got the first level of enchantment now completed. So we did lose 1 unit coming back in. Someone was crippled. Worldwide events occurred. The throne of summer is spreading warmth across the land. Heat went up by +1. Patrolling troops in Sleepy Mountains have killed 3 filthy brigands. That's good. And we've got a new famous hero. So go to the commander. So this is actually Sev, is now like a very, very powerful commander. So if we go and have a look at the where was that? The got Sev there. If we go back into the nation overview, Hall of Fame. So we can see there the different groups that are coming through. That's Skullbearer that we saw there before. Sev has now hit the list. When you actually hit the list of the Hall of Fame, it means that you've actually then got yourself like a heroic ability. And the heroic ability he's got is Jinn Blood. This commander is known for his great combat skill, and he also gets extra powerful in magic provinces. He probably has Jinn Blood in his veins. Any commander entering the Hall of Fame gets a heroic ability. So he's going to end up with another little ability through here, Magic Power. This unit is more powerful in provinces with high magic and less powerful in provinces with drain. Magic Power also affects the stealth value of sneaking units. So he's actually just got like the power of the genie to sort of then help him along. They're all going to have these different abilities. So there's a few different groups. This one here, Dante was killed, but we've still got Skullbearer is still actually sort of working his way through. I think that Fernando will be a mercenary, but Skullbreaker is no kills himself, but he's certainly a powerful force we need to sort of go and kill off. All right, let's just go back in. We'll do just go back in to set up these different troops. I'm going to pop all of those in with these guys, all of my sacreds together at this stage. I wouldn't mind another group, another commander actually. Yeah, it'd be handy to be able to bring these guys in, but I think I'll just leave them where they are at this stage. So we're picking up still more carrion. That one's patrolling. I think it's time for us to go in. So let's go and bring the army in this way. So we'll start now. Take this particular throne. I won't claim the throne though, simply because of that problem we had with the death. I don't. The death is really of very limited value to me. Just go back into here, pick up the carrion that we picked up. Again, because we've got high magic, we're going to get more and more carrion as well. So this is like when we have a look at this one through here, we do actually have a magic level of 1 there, magic level of 3 here, which means that this is why we're picking up the commanders here, I think. If we have a look at the, again at the T, so what's that one there? Mandragora. Yeah, we've got sleep vines and things. All right, let's get this attack going. So I'm now going to bring Polydukes in, and I'm also going to bring in Anthedon. So these are now all moving in. So when we go back into Plothii, we're now coming in from 3 different directions. So to control what we're doing in this particular fight, if I go across into the Y key, I can instantly see all of the different forces coming in. I'm still happy to keep these hold and attack rear. I'll allow that to happen because I don't think I need to really rush too much with anything that's actually happening. We have a big force of these carrion, and I think I can sort of, like, the more that we end up with those, the more we're going to probably be able to take on Ermor as well, to be honest. Now, Polydukes is coming in with another big group of them, so they're all going to be together. So what I might do is I might just go and move Polydukes, mannequins, and things off to the side there. And we also have another smallish group here from Anthedon. And they can just do their own thing. I don't think I can really give them too many battle orders. So they've got to hold an attack and stuff like that as well. Yeah, let's just leave it. They'll end up sort of... they'll just end up doing their own thing anyway. Just move it back slightly. And then we've got the big group at the back, which will then end up sweeping into the attack at the very, very end. That's enough, I think. I think we've got a fairly good mix there. So we'll end our turn there, I think. Just press next. Just keep on sort of checking out this area. Another scouts. These can fly a long way, so I'll just fly across that way. Back through here as well. We'll just keep on sort of scouting through the land. Okay, that's everyone now moved. All right, in we go. There's the battle in Plothii, so we'll just view the battle itself. And so with the scripting that we've got, these guys are just moving in. These move in fast until they can get into a position where they can attack. Now we're going to be smashed here a little bit with the archers from here. But we're doing pretty well with these satyrs. Actually, they're not terrible. Here comes these sacred centaurs. Not the shrub. These are blessed, but the blessing is only morale until our god comes onto the actual battlefield. But they've got better protection than the Minotaurs, which means that they should have better survivability. They just don't have as many hit points. Here comes the Minotaurs now. Yeah, I think I'll keep on focusing more on these than the Minotaurs, to be honest. And they're retreating. This guy here is fatigued, so his fatigue is like he's essentially unconscious once it goes over 100. So he's just going to sit there until he somehow comes good. There we go. All right, that's fine. Just get out of that one. All right, so what happened there? So black centaurs did a lot of damage. There's only 8 of them. Did 40. That's incredible. Actually, that's what we really should be focusing on, not so much the black minotaurs. They only got 1 kill ultimately in that particular fight. So satyrs lost 12. So we did lose a lot of satyrs. Carrion, we lost a few, not very many. That's all okay. We did have retreats. Total of 1 unit dispersed and retreated on their own. One of them made it back to friendly territory. Exit out of that one. Tax went down in Sleepy Mountains. That's not good. So heavy rains have destroyed the roads, hampering trade. Province income also went down. So Sleepy Mountains is an important one for us. This is where we've got the great silver mine. We've still got a lot in the treasury, which is good. So we can sort of certainly work with that. We're seeing different undead now moving into this location. What do we got over here? These are Tavi. Okay, these are monkeys essentially in this location. There's Pythium itself. That's what I wanted to find, was just where they actually were. They've built themselves a temple there to try to push back Ermor. We have to do the same thing, to be honest. We need to start to sort of build, we need to build a location beyond where we are that is going to protect us. And so the best way of maximising the the fortifications with their administration is to build a fortification every 2 away. So that would be a good location, that would be a good location, that would be a good location as well. But that and that would then be 2 very, very good locations. So we might even aim for that. So what we'll do is we'll actually move across now into this other location. Now if we have a quick look at our military, just press T. Yeah, we've still got a few of these guys left, not very many. We can just bring all of these across and just have a massive force of these. They can replace the satyrs. So we can end up having those actually sort of focused from the middle. I don't know if we can set up in terms of what they do. Yeah, we've only got box formation available for them, so we can't do much with them. All right, well, we need to get across the Sleepy Mountains. We need to get another commander. So let's go, and we've got a lot of treasury now. So let's go and let's get ourselves a panic apostate and sort of bring in one of the big commanders. So if we go back into recruitment, this one here is going to cost me 420 gold, 4 commander points, which is going to take 2 turns to do this. This one here is a supreme commander, essentially. It gives extra bonuses, etc. as well. So I want one of these now to be the commander of the main commander of the armies that we end up having. So I want like this third one to join in with the other 2. So it's going to take 2 turns to bring him in. Let's just keep on bringing in more of these black centaurs as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. If I move across and go 1, 2, this is just a these are fairly simple now for us to deal with. I'm going to move that one across. I'm going to move these back as well, just to pick up different forces. And then they can sort of come and join in with the others as well when they start to pick up more carrion. So we'll hit across here first, Stonegrave Mountains. Then we'll start to build up a presence there. Yeah, I need to sort of see what's going on there. But let's just keep on expanding and having a bit of a look around. All right, that'll do us. So no attacks this turn. It's now winter. We may end up with frozen water. None of this is frozen yet. Yep, no, nothing's frozen. With the Throne of Summer being claimed, It may not. Here we go. Actually got an unusually cold winter. So cold has gone to +1. Battling Glade Wood. This is actually Ermor again. Let's just have a quick look and see what they've got. So they're bringing in fairly big forces. They did lose a few of them there. Yep, that's okay. Just leave them where they are. So the winter is now coming in. See how this is now frozen over? We can lead armies straight across this location if we wanted to. I'm going to need to push back against this, but I'm going to start from back over here and build another castle. In fact, that's also can now be moved across. Let's just go back in and press T. Now, if we go back into recruitment, we've still got one more turn before the Panic Apostate comes in. So we'll just keep on bringing in more and more of these. So bring 4 of those in. Now we've got 149 recruitment points in through this other side. I might bring in more of the centaurs. They've only got short bows. Because I think we can sort of replace those with the carrion. The carrion will be able to sort of hold the front line. And then we can just use sort of like heavy hitting forces coming in sort of specially. Okay, Polygix. Let's go and get more forces. And at this stage with the winter, the way it's sort of coming in, I'll be able to cross over from that location if I have to, but I'm just going to pick them up. I don't need to bring them in just yet. So we'll sort of leave them where they are. Leave that one where that is as well. I'll just allow them to patrol the province. One thing we need to do here is to go back into our defences and build up this one maybe to about 10 or 11. So we just end up with a few different forces there just to sort of hold on to that particular location. We're not going to claim that location just because of the death. The extra death is going to work against us in the long term. We're hoping to sort of see the Dominion here, like this has now got 4. So there's a chance in these plains that this will then become forest at some point, and that's what we have to try to do. So when we sort of find, like it's only got 1 growth at the moment, it's only got 1 growth, 3 growths. Where this is, we're going to end up with death, which is the opposite. So this is why we will need to get priests to push our Dominion even further. Away from this. These really are the enemy for us. This is a major enemy. So we're going to need to pretty much crush them as fast as we possibly can. Let's go and end our turn here, I think. I'll just press N. That's interesting. We've got another one there. This is Marignon. And we're looking at, in Gladewood, we're looking at a big group from Ermor, 110 sort of undead. Let's just keep on scouting around first. So even though we've got undead forces, we're a growth and living force. I love the way that this game does that. Sort of where it sort of ends up with these sort of interesting combinations where we're still using death magic, but we're not a death faction. We're not a death scales faction. We're a growth scales. So very much the opposite. But we're not a force for good. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll claim. I think I'll claim this one here first. And if we just go back across and look at Y, like the Y key. So we've got these hold and attack rear. So they're going to hold back, which is fine. Firing like these are now going to take the mantle from the satyrs. They're still just going to stay where they are as well. That's fine where that is. Okay, there's Marignon itself at the top there. If we have a look at this fortification, like their administration bonus is 60, ours is 25. So this is actually another big difference between what they do. Ermor should be about the same as us, I think. Pythium will be a good one as well, I would imagine. They're 50. This is why getting the cap circles are so important for these different areas. We're not going to see Irma until we actually get somebody else back there again. But that's all fine where that is. Okay, everyone else has now moved. Luck has gone up and growth has gone up. Good. So cluster of 5 stars could be seen shining more brightly than usual for a week. That's excellent. There's a battle in the Stonegrave Mountains. Just go and view the battle. Yeah, this one really shouldn't be a problem. I mean, we've got the... these are now working in with the satyrs. It's sort of interesting to sort of see the difference between, like, they've got heavy infantry, for example, in through here. And it's going to be interesting to sort of see how our forces fight against, like, these guys have got very, very good protection, very good defense, but the actual, these have got like the sleep vines, so we can fatigue these guys very, very quickly, as long as we can survive. Now, in this case, the spearmen are going to be coming in. They're going to, essentially, with their long range, they're going to have a first hit. So we're taking a bit of damage. Not that it matters for us that much. They're bypassed, the heavies, and coming straight back into against those. But the heavies will be able to stand up. This is the fatigue we're seeing, the blue. Heavy infantries are very, very good in the ability to be able to stand in a fight. The game models these things so well. There we go. Smash the leadership. That should be everything from their side now gone. I can't see any other leaders. Yep, that's over and done with. Right, what did we lose? We did lose 18 mannequins. It's okay. We can replace them. So we now have the Stonegrave Mountains, and we'll be wanting to get more and more of these different locations, but we need to make sure that our dominion is important here. So I'm going to now go across to, we've got Alstor in through here. So we've got a few more of these units that are coming back in. Alstor, I'm just going to go and have a look and see. He can construct buildings. So it's going to cost me 1,500 gold to construct, and I've got 500 at the moment. So I need to now save up to get palisades back in through here. Even getting like temples and stuff, if I just go back into this area through here, I'm just going to go and grab 6 of those. You can see there the enemy dominion here. This is the death dominion, and we need to stop this. We need to stop that. So the what I'm going to do here is, I've got 500. So I can build a temple for 600. The palisades have only got an admin of 15, but this is what I need to build. Ultimately. But in the meantime, we can just keep on sort of attacking. Just keep on bringing these in. Just build up these carrion forces. We have a fair few in there as well, which is fine. All right, with this group in through here, I think we'll sweep down and we'll then take this as well, and sort of we'll try to sort of make sure that we have control all the way through here. By having our profit, it's going to just help with everything else that's going on. These have got heavy infantries and archers as well, so we shouldn't really have too much problem moving into this particular one. Just going to press T. There's one more carrion we can just go and drag into there. All right, that's fine. And then we've got the ultimately the freezing here is still, this is still frozen. What have we got in there? Nothing much. I'll let that one just stay where it is for a little while. We now have the Pan. This is Chiron. If anyone wants this character, by the way, this one is available. So if anyone wants to redeem a name, this one will be around hopefully for a long period of time. 3 nature, 3 death. Would be a good researcher. Animal ore. That's not going to affect any of the ones that we've actually got that we're dealing with. Maybe Pythium at some point. Recuperation. Yep. Supply bonus there of 30. We could even bring in everyone else now as well. Let's just go back in and press T. Chiron can actually have up to 3 squads. You can see they're 1 of 3. And he does add extra morale to the squads themselves. So I'm just going to go and throw all of these in. Now he does have undead leadership there of 200 as well, which is what we need for these guys. Now these are different again to the rest of them. Now what are these? These are also not mindless. These are carrion furies. These are sacred as well. So we're better off trying to deal with this way, I think. And then we have just the standard old carrion. Just press enter and just ditch that one. I can throw all of those into a 4th one, which then, even though he's got 3, he can take more, but at the expense of morale. There we go. Carpathis has redeemed a character. Works for you. So this one here is going to be, if I just go into R. Carpathis. There we are. And really what I want to be doing with this is resettling everything back again once we actually hit this other side. So I'll use Carpathis now to move up into the Sleepy Mountains, and we'll then cross this bridge. I'll get this one to still keep the attack coming in. Once we actually reach there, we do actually have a mountain pass, which is, I think, impassable at this stage. That needs to be in full summer, so I don't think that's going to work. Got the treasury. I'm going to start to save up now for what we do need. Now Alstor, I'll leave Alstor where he is. All of these, I'll just leave them where they are. Polydukes and that as well. So that one is going to move up. Fly all the way up to the top. And that one there. I want to find out what, I want to keep an eye on Ermor as well. I'll go to that one there to see if they end up taking it. Fennica, I still need to keep on just searching the map. And you can just patrol the province. I'll just press F1, just have a quick look and make sure how everything's going. I want to make sure that I've got defense in each location, which I have. Everything else is looking good. I just want to double check that defensive line through there. We need more forest. But we need growth in these locations. And the only real way of doing that is to stop what Ermor's got with their death. So we need to destroy their dominion. I could get more of these guys actually. I've only got 3. I might actually go and recruit another 1. It does stop us from getting gold, but we'll just let that happen for a little while. There we are. Get our 2nd level of enchantment now. Conjuration next. Okay, here we go. So this is the dormant pretender gods are now awakening, and ours is now awakened in the first turn. So it's a bit of a, it can be a few turns, after they awaken. So Chirocles, the god of Asphodel, lord of eloquence, master of the healing arts, master of silence, is awoken. So this is actually now our god. 2 of Supreme Plague's crippled units died in the march. I'm not sure which ones they were. Battle in Karnag. Let's have a look and see what's happening through there. Again, this should be a fairly simple one. If I just go to sort of faster, that's just going to be F. I can just speed things up. It's harder to move through snow like this. Comes the centaurs. There we are. Lost 3 mannequins. Yeah, so nothing much really that we lost in through that side. So that's all fine. We did have two units retreated on their own back into friendly territory. That's okay. Okay, so we have a new famous hero. This is Supreme Plague. So stories of Supreme Plague, brave deeds and enormous strength. So there will be an extra strength area in through there. So we go back into the Hall of Fame. So we now have Sev and Supreme Plague are at the bottom of the list. Marignon has got 4, but only one of them is alive. So Fernando is actually now moved. He wasn't part of their group at that stage. We have a commander here, an independent commander, is actually still alive and doing fairly well. Now that's interesting. We're no longer seeing Ermor's prophet there anymore. Yeah, so we have a bit of a look. Strength has now gone to 17 in here. That's okay. Yeah, so that's increased physical strength will be what's happened in that particular location. And here's Chirocles making through here. This is actually who we got. It was a Titan Mandragora. That's actually, so you were right, actually. I completely forgot about that one. This thing's got amazing hit points with what it can then go and do. So there's a lot we can do with this particular unit. We focused on a lot of things with this one, and the big one now is that when we actually have a look at the blessings, before we were only getting like +1 in terms of morale, but now we have regeneration, and so the regeneration, if we it says incarnate only if the commander is on the actual map. Doesn't have to be in the battle, just has to be living on the map somewhere. So Chirocles is now sort of come into the actual map itself with a lot of nature. The nature was to get the regeneration, which means that all of our sacred units, like all of those black centaurs and black minotaurs, when they become blessed, they're going to heal themselves up to a large degree. So it's only high hitting, like big damaging units that are going to be able to cause a lot of issues for us. So Stilmer saying, what is the second last stat of the Mandragora, the one next to Power from Death? So this one, so you got your Power from Death there is I'll just go through all of these actually. This unit gets more powerful for each time it has been killed. So the value of this ability is the maximum number of deaths that will result in even higher power. So we can be killed, but we have to then raise it back up. So it's not worth killing it, but this is essentially like a carrion type thing. This one here is growth power. This unit is more powerful in provinces with positive growth scale. So we end up with becoming more powerful, and growth is really what we've gone for. That was, I think, one of the reasons we chose this one, I think. Spirit Sight, supply bonus there, recuperation. It is our pretender god. It's inanimate, magic being. Inanimate means it can still move around, but it's not actually a living thing. Undead. Pierce resistant, so it actually does less damage from spears and things. Fear, so it causes fear 5, which is fairly high, so it actually does cause fear for other creatures. Poor amphibian, so it can cross water. Blessed, again, it's going to have that regeneration, which means that for every turn that it's in combat, it's going to it's going to get 20 points, hit points back again. So it's going to take a lot for things to kill this. Also, because it's undead, its morale is incredibly high. It does have good leadership as well. I'm actually thinking of using it as a super combatant at this point in time, this early stage even. even before we sort of do too much with it. Just to even sort of test things out, see how it actually does go. Nature Mage level 7, and it's a good researcher as well. But we can see there there's no magic items that we've actually picked up anywhere at this stage, so we don't have anything through there, but we can have something in its hand, something in its the offhand as well. It can shoot a bow, can have a helmet, armor, feet as well. And it's got 2 ring slots and plus a whole lot of magic gems if it does require them. So with the, I'm even thinking of taking this one across to see if how it can handle the trolls, which I think we'll do a save scum with that one. I've got to get going fairly soon, so we might even just do that now and just sort of see how it goes. I can move in one slot. Let's go and do that. We'll just move him across. We'll press Y, the Y key, and we'll set the battle orders in through here. So this is actually now scripting for how we come in and what we do. So I'm going to cast a specific spell, and I don't even know what we've got. We've got a few different things in through here. Now, if we're fighting inside our dominion, I think he's blessed. I think that's the way it does work. So I don't need to do anything else too much in through there. What I need to do is buff him up as much as I possibly can. Now he's already got regeneration. So this is a it doesn't affect inanimate beings, doesn't affect enemy units. Actually, I wonder if that means that regeneration is not going to actually work for us. That may be a problem with these. Small number of targets regenerative powers does not work on inanimate targets. Well, that spell won't work. I just don't know. I've actually now wondering whether the actual regeneration that we have won't work. Let's just find out what happens actually. Yeah. So okay. So Stillman is confirming that one. So regeneration does not work on your Titan due to it being an inanimate and undead. Yeah, who need undead. Oh, okay. So in that case, it's probably a bit too dangerous for us to do that one. Dust to dust. We've got Frighten. Frighten's another good one. I mean, we could go in even just with that. We've got Decay. What does that one do? Dust to dust. It's for destroying undead. Raised skeletons would be also another good one. In fact, it's probably going to be better for us to use that first, then cast a couple of Frightens. I'll give it a go. I'll do a save before we do it, and then just sort of see how that one does work. And again, this is inanimate mages are not affected. Yep, so that's not going to help us. Yeah, we're not going to get the regeneration. Gift of the Hare, Venom Arrows, Gift of the Serpent. Personal Bark Skin is a good one. We don't need that one. Eagle Eyes, Skeletal Body. Yeah, I'll do that as well. So this is all just going to help protect us. In fact, I'm going to delete the 2 Frightens and put them after this. Let's just see how we go. I'm going to save scum this one though. So we're setting that one up. I'm also going to move it slightly back. Just say to around here somewhere. But still keep it in the middle. And we're going to go in with some other forces as well. So we'll sort of send a couple of others in. Now, I don't think I can move anything from here too quickly across, but I can move this one in here. So just go and grab those in. They can just sort of soak up the damage here a little bit. So, and we'll move them over as well. So Anthedon can move in. And again, if we just press Y, we can then sort of see the other force coming back in. I'm just going to leave them where they are. So if we set them to hold and attack closest enemy, keep them nice and close. and Anthedon as well can just sort of move back. And I'm going to tell Anthedon to stay behind troops, because he's going to be fairly weak. Let's just see if that works as a bit of an experiment. We want Carpathus to actually then move in with this particular group. So we're getting ready now to, and they're now building up as well. They've got different groups. We'll have to sort of come in with different types of attacks as well for that one. Yeah, I've got a couple of these now. Let's go and move that one up into there. We want to get our treasury up. They're researching. This one here I want to move up as well. I'm just going to fly that one across and start to build a temple in here. Or not even a temple, just start to build things up. So I'll move them across into there. This is now thawed. We're now in spring again. So it's the first year. Now the first year is now sort of has run its course. Let's just go and press next. I'm just going to keep them where they are. We are going to preach the teachings of God. We reanimate more mannequins back in through that side. Just got a couple of mannequins in there to add into the mix. Supreme Plague has now got 2 different groups. I'm just going to keep those where they are, but I'm now going to split these 2 up. So hold and attack rear. I'll have them come in from different angles, because now these will actually regenerate. So I'm just going to sort of move them down a little bit. There we go. That should be fine. Okay, and actually even with the group that we actually have there, these guys are inanimate. They're undead. Actually, no, they're not. They don't have. They're cold resistant, which is good. They're pierce resistant. This is what I wanted. So they're difficult to take damage from piercing weapons. So that means that any of the javelins and spears that the Ermorian troops have got aren't going to be anywhere near as effective as they could be or should be. All right, then we've got this one through here. That's Ermor again. I just want to stay where I am there. So I'm just going to go and, well, I don't want to do that. I wanted to click on that one, hide and wait. It's going to sit back in there and watch with some interest. There's another location there, which is one of the thrones. Just keep on sort of flying these harpies everywhere. All right, so we've got a few different locations which would be nice for us to go and get. I would like to get all of this, like the misty forest and stuff like this as well, under our control. The more forest we can get, the better. Now that this could be disastrous, so what I am going to do is just going to go and press save game and quit. Then we're going to go and do that, open the user directory, save games, just going to ditch that one, delete, and 7-zip. And just save the whole lot. We'll just replace it if this doesn't work. So this is a full save scum, which you normally can't do in the game, of course. So the game sort of, it's the better you get, the less you need to do this. But I'm really unsure as to what's going to happen in that fight. It's sort of, I'm interested to sort of see what actually does happen here. So we'll just go back and play the game. All right, and everyone's now moved. So let's see what happens here. So we've got a one attack going in. Okay, there's a battle in Druid Land. Let's have a look and see. Oops, keep on pressing that. Yeah, oh, there's a lot of trolls. I thought it was only supposed to be 7. Oh, Favner, he's going to be hard. So we've got defense, we've got a bit of protection. Yeah, they're going to smash their way through these. They're going to have big blunt damage attacks. Yeah, great clubs, blunt damage. I don't think we're going to be able to survive this. Here it comes. Yeah, so we've got 195 at this point in time. So current hit points are 195. Let's just see how we go. They regenerate, we don't. Now that one there is retreated. This is where the regeneration is super useful. We're still at 195. We are causing fear. This is actually what's happening here. Is that their morale is they're routing because of the frightening aspect that we actually have. So that morale is gone as well. In fact, all of them have now run, which means that this one should run as well. Its morale is still 11. Let's see what actually happens here. This is the fearful aspect, which makes them do more morale checks. Is that our guy? Yeah, that's the carrion commander there as well. So he's still alive as well. These are fatigued. They've been put to sleep. These guys here are still, they've got morale. These are undead. These are soulless. They're not going to really be able to do much against us. Other than there being heaps and heaps of them coming. Still at 195. I don't think we took any damage at all. We'll focus on these guys, but these are asleep. It's allowing the soulless to sort of get in and do stuff. Yeah, we've taken a bit of damage now. I just saw a bit of damage coming in where they hit the leg. Again, because we're so tall, like we're a monstrously large creature. The size, that's not us. Where are we? Yeah, we're size 9, which is monstrous. Like we're gigantic. So yeah, there's very little that they can sort of do against us. How's his fatigue going? Yeah, his fatigue is now 112, so he's now sort of knocked himself out. He's used all of his gems. Our fatigue is getting better and better. And we'll just eventually sort of wear these down. Like we're at 185 now. I'll just speed things up. There we go. Has he now run? Yeah, he's run off the map. All right. Okay, that was good. So there was a battle in Druidland. So we did actually do okay with that one. So we made a carrion ogre. So we got -1 deaths there. So that means I think we made one out of the trolls. The independents did actually sort of leave there. So this province previously owned by independents has been conquered by our forces. That's good. So we'll just go and exit. Now we do actually have this one through here. Sense the location of 4 previously undiscovered thrones. So we know where the other thrones all are now as well. So we've now got troll lands, which is good. or Druid land. So we've now got this particular area. And we've got the Marignon just off to the side there again as well. Now there is actually this location back up through there, so that's sort of ready to go. The yeah, and this one as well. I do need to make sure that I sort of stay. Marignon I don't really want to be fighting with, so I'm glad that we took that. Let's just go and have a look and do our province defence. They've only got they don't actually have trolls in here as such. One thing we haven't been doing is searching as well, searching for sites. And I really should start to do that. I might even, just while actually we've got enough now. Let's just go back into here. You can start to build the palisades. So we'll get that one started in that particular location. And you can search for magic sites. The others are now ready to go and start the attack. So next time we play, we'll now start to move across. We have a closed mountain pass there. This is now going to be, I'll just press A and grab all of them. So all of the armies will now get ready to move into here. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go into press Y, just so we can sort of start to reposition where everything actually is. So I'm going to keep the mundane with Carpathus and then the blessed units with Sev. Now these are also sacred, but Sev can only have 2. I'm safer to bring this down. I don't think I can, yeah, cannot lead undead units. You can't put sentience in with that one as well. Where did I thought I had 3 of those. Not sure where it went. I thought I had 3 of that particular group. I'll leave it with Carpathus at this stage. Gives them +1 morale for all of those anyway. Okay, so Storm's saying, Tetraphyte said something. So at least Asphodel has their national regen spells for undead. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that one, actually. It's in enchantment. Okay, let's have a look at that. I do have to get going, but let's just, let's leave this where this is, I think. You hold an attack, that's okay. These are going to be, I'll leave these also with hold and attack as well. So I'll just leave those back where they are. These are also, these won't get the regeneration actually, so they're not going to really be all that useful to us. Everything else is pretty good there though. Fire and keep distance, closest enemy. And this one here, I'll just keep that one in with Supreme Plagues group. This one here is going to be fire and keep distance, closest enemy as well. So just keep them going where they are. All right, so that's, I'm just going to I'm not going to play this one out, but if we just go back across now into research and have a quick look at, what was it? He's mentioned it was under enchantment. Where have we got that one? It'll be coloured. Dark Slumber. Let's see it there. Mend the Dead. Okay, an unholy prayer that instantly mends the bones, vines and roots of a mannequin or carrion beast. Oh, okay. Wow, that's actually very powerful. So level 2 priests, that means we can actually bring harpies in and regrowth as well. Yeah, damage sustained by a regrowing mannequin will heal very quickly. Okay, well that's going to be super useful. That means we can actually make good use of... Well, Sev then, his abilities then change. Let's just go back in and press Y. And actually, I do have to get going, so maybe I shouldn't do that one. Yeah, so it's a pre-spell. So if we go back into Sev, I might just do this now because I'll forget otherwise. We'll delete that one, delete that one, delete that. We need Divine Blessing just to bless all of the different units. So that's the most important thing. And then we'll cast a specific spell. And so this is going to be, what does Puppet Mastery do? Yeah, that's good. And then I think we just, I don't know what the difference is between regrowth. Error effect 2 and Mend the Dead, 1 person. So I'm better off with regrowth. Alright, and then just cast more spells after that. So that's actually fairly good. And then that means that we've got Carpathus as well. If we go back into cast specific spells in through here. So we've got a few different things. We've got Skeletal Body, Personal Bark Skin. We do have Healing Touch there as well. So still I'm saying regrowth regenerates, Mend the Dead heals instantly for 40 a single unit like a thug. Yeah, so if we send in a harpy, or not a harpy, a dryad with the main guy, they can just sit back and heal him up as he fights. Got Raised Skeletons, regeneration. Might even just do that one for other things. Because this one's not, I don't think this one is a blessable unit. Cast a specific spell. Frighten's always a good one. But not against Ermor, which is what we're now going to be doing. There we go, that'll do. Just stay behind troops. You know, just go none. Or spells, actually, just cast spells. Yeah, it's not. This one's not sacred. Yep, that's fine. That's fine where that is. All right, that's and we've got Supreme Plague also just to add a blessing. It's not that it's really going to do anything, but that's going to be fine as well. Let's have a quick look and see what we end up getting through here. Specific spells, Quick Roots. Yeah, now we're getting so many mannequins, you know, like it's actually now, it's now good. It's very, very good. Oh, hang on. Final Rest, what does that one do? Yeah, Destroy Undead. There we go. So I hope it doesn't sort of miss and hit ours. All right, so we're sort of scripting this one up now quite nicely. I think this is going to be interesting just to see how we then go in that next attack. So we have a big force of our undead against their undead as well. So we're going to start to sort of push back and try to get our growth levels up. We didn't have none of the provinces turned into forest, unfortunately. I do want to get this one across into here. If we just go back and have another look at the at what we end up having. So I'm just going to bring these in. That's that ogre we actually made from the group. I'm just going to grab these as well, add them in, so they can just stay where they are. I don't know if we end up having the ability to. Yeah, I don't have the other abilities to do anything else in through here either. So in this case, I will just go back in with the Frighten. So we'll leave that one there, and Anthedon can then go back into Boar Woods. We've already done the defense value there. We'll move up into Pack Woods as well. We do want to control these. I would like to get this, but I'm not going to declare war against these guys just yet. I mean, they're also fighting. They will be fighting against Ermor. I think everyone's going to have to go against Ermor at some point. Let's just go back and have another quick look. We've got these as well. We'll just have a bit of a look. Here's the. This is going to be Vanheim. Just keep on sort of scouting these. That'll be okay. Right. So that's all done. I won't. Don't think I'll end the turn just yet. Maybe I'll just end the turn and then we'll leave it at that. But I do have to get going. Yep. So Tetra fight and saying kind of scary matchups versus Ermor and the Fiery Marignon too. Yes. So Bubo saying, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Did Ozzy Osbourne die? Well, that's a shame. I mean, he didn't look well for a long period of time, if that's true. That's sad news, if that's the case. Grew up with Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, that'd be very sad. That's thrown me a bit, actually. So, anyway, I don't know if I should end the turn just yet or leave it for the next time. I think I'll leave it and then have the war against Ermor sort of start in a bit more of a meaningful way, and we'll sort of just work our way through there. One thing we can do with this is this one is a poor amphibian, so I can have it just run off. Like once we take these locations, I can move through the water, so I can get Chirocles and actually move up to here if I wanted to, but I'll just move up this way. And he should be able to take out these low-level areas fairly easily. So anyway, guys, so we'll actually leave it there. So thanks for watching. I'll just save game and quit. And I'll be back tomorrow for some more Distant Worlds, I guess. So I'll catch you then if you're around. Thanks for watching.